Don't kiss.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, March 5th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1222.
This is No Agenda.
Selling flip phones and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the drone star state. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we are reeling from Joe Rogan fever, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
All right, I have to tell you, and I'm sure you know this, I have been incredibly nervous since I got home last night, because there are only really two people in the world I trust to tell me the truth. Tina, of course, but yeah, she loves me. And there's you. And the fact that you have not tweeted, retweeted, made a comment or anything about the Rogan appearance has me, and I know I fucked up some things, but has me very concerned.
I only got to the psilocybin part, so I am not.
Oh my God.
I haven't heard the whole thing.
Oh my God. Really? Oh, okay.
I had a show to do.
Yeah, me too. I know. I also traveled.
Yes, you probably had more to do than I did.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
but
yes,
my daughter watched the whole thing.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Which kept me clued in, and I have a report.
Wait, before the report, let me just mention a few things that I'm embarrassed about and pissed about. Okay. One, although it was mentioned very nicely by Joe in the intro to the podcast, which is really what matters. That's where the bulk of everything comes from.
When I saw the podcast, there was no intro. You were halfway through the podcast. He started off, "Hey, by the way, we're on the air." And then
no. That I think that must have been the YouTube. The podcast itself, the audio.
YouTube's what
I
watched.
The audio version starts off, and he said, "Adam Curry, No Agenda Show," because not at a single point ever did I mention the URL noagendashow.com. That is an incredible faux pas. And this was also pointed out by
within you had 3 hours and you never said No Agenda Show.
Well, we talked a lot about No Agenda and different No Agenda Art Generator and No Agenda Shop, but I never actually said No Agenda Show. When I had the opportunity, I foolishly completely spaced and did not promote animated No Agenda. Very, very disappointed in myself.
Oh, that's why she said she's not going to do any more.
Also, I forgot to mention Dave Jones, who built the Freedom Controller. I had an opportunity to say that, and he deserves that credit. And I know I'm in big trouble because I did not give a shout out to Justin, the drug dealer. So those are the things I know that I goofed up on. But I'm happy to hear the report.
You were twitching.
Yep.
And people were making comments about it, and I saw that, and I didn't think it was anything out of the ordinary. It wasn't out of control.
Well, let's just talk about that for a second.
You apparently were blinking a lot.
Yes. Well, let's just talk about it for a second. I already knew that I would never be able to relax enough to have a great conversation and get through however long we were going to talk. So I did have in my mind my secret weapon, which I deployed about an hour into the show, and I said, "Hey, let's smoke some weed, because then I can tell you about how crazy my Tourette's is." And we had a nice chat about it, and that at least made me feel comfortable myself, fully cognizant that I'm ticking and twitching away and I'm out of control when I'm on weed. What's interesting about this in the comments, because I looked at some comments on YouTube and stuff, so people be like, "Adam, blink 3 times if you're in danger."
Yeah.
But a common one was, "Dude is on Adderall. He's tweaking. He's completely coked out." I got a lot of that, which I thought was interesting. But I also got some people who have some possible fixes and say, well, this may not be actually Tourette's. It may be what is it? It's the there's a couple of books on somatic experiencing.
Yeah.
And so apparently, if you have this trauma that is stuck here, flight, fight, freeze that happens during traumatizing events, and how the limbic system and nervous system keep memories in the body. So it could be that when I get tense or something's triggering it, it's something very old is stuck in there. That's very possible. So there may be some solutions for me yet.
I'm sticking with the Tourette's if anybody wants to know why.
Okay.
You can ask me why.
Hey, why?
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Only 8 cars today. This effort.
Economy is stable.
The reason I say that is because I saw that I've talked to you about this before. I saw this really 2 or 3 hour special on Tourette's, which I was very sympathetic with, you and I can talk about your Tourette's and all the rest of it. And one of the elements of all Tourette's sufferers, as they like to put it, is their neat freaks.
OCD.
Yeah. And you are one of those.
Yeah, although I still kind of disagree with you on that, but
well, that would be typical.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's why I thought Scott Adams had Tourette's, because he blinks a lot, and he's very fastidious.
Well, Joe was really cool about it. I got to tell you, I had a really good time. It
looked like you guys got along.
We got along.
That was my only concern, to be honest about it.
Oh my God, we fell into it right away. We're like, and he's really nice. He's a very, very nice guy. Not that I expected him not to be, but it's just like, wow, dude, you're super, super nice. He even called me last night, although some unknown number comes through, so I'm like, no, reject. And then he texted me and he said that he really enjoyed it. I think that's kind of if the host of the show contacts you after the show and says that was cool, then I think that's
like sitting down with Carson.
Oh, well, I said that literally. I said this is the Tonight Show of our era. And man, it's the stuff that is coming in, John. This is going to be so good for the show. Listen to this. Hey, Adam, I'm the director of content partnerships at Audio Boom. We host, distribute, and monetize podcast content. I wanted to reach out to see if you'd be interested in working with Audio Boom to help you secure some sponsorship opportunities for your podcast.
Yeah, dude, that's what I like about guys. They don't even bother listening to the show. They don't know anything about it, and they're starting to offer. This is like you're going to get a lot of this. Hey, we've got a guest for your show that you'll love.
Well, yes, I've already gotten those, and I've gotten a lot of. Hey, come on my show. It's happening. I'm peaking. My show is breaking out. You got to be on the show. Also, by the way, I regret I didn't plug Grimerica. They deserved a plug. And I didn't even have to watch the show or listen to it to know I'd forgotten these things once I was in the hour-and-a-half traffic going back to LAX after the interview. That was interesting. Smoke a blunt with Rogan and then hop on the 405 to the 101. Woo!
Well, at least you don't have to worry about getting into a high-speed accident.
No, that's true. That's true. So anyway, yeah.
Well, it seemed like it was a winner. And my daughter thought it was good. She thought that that Rogan kind of slapped you aside when you tried to really promote the show.
Really? I never even tried,
except for one time.
That's interesting.
So she felt that you were not being allowed to plug the show much.
That's interesting. I mean, in 3 hours, and we talked about all kinds. I mean, I talked about you a lot, actually.
Oh, that's sweet.
Specifically, I said...
Did he get my name right, or am I still Bill Dungus, or whoever I thought it was before that?
I don't think he ever I don't think he ever actually used your name. But I was saying, these Christmas cards with mushrooms on it. I said, I know Dvorak he collects those. He has those. Did you get the whole mushroom Santa Claus bit, or you didn't get that far yet?
I didn't know. I told you I ended at the.
It was right around the
mushrooms.
It was right around there. So
I probably comes after.
Yeah, and some other things. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you did it. It sounds like a good idea. And now you're going to get harassed by people who want to book guests.
Yeah, on our show. Yeah, we got a great guest for No Agenda Show. Everybody, this Audio Boom pitch is funny. Yeah. Our sales team is able to land host read spots for podcasts collecting around 10,000 listens an episode. Wow. This is great. We can land a host read spot.
Yeah. It's good for $45.
Yeah. Anyway, highly recommend staying at the Marriott at LAX. That's a great hotel. I'm so happy you taught me to do this. It is so smart. Yeah. So smart. And, I had an 8 a.m. flight the next morning, so I just, go down. Yeah, but
in fact, those early, super early flights, which you end up taking a lot when you're someplace else, are so inconvenient. But it's like the only flight you can get.
If you want, direct flight.
God, I got to leave the hotel at 5:30 in the morning. Why am I even here?
Well, and that's why you get a hotel at the airport.
Yeah, then you just slop out of bed, walk to the gate, you're there.
Well, not quite. You got to pop on the shuttle from the Marriott, but that was okay. That was okay.
I like the ones that are actually inside the airport itself.
Yes, like in Amsterdam.
And Gatwick has that.
But the thing about the Marriott is they have the Hertz rental office right there in the hotel. So
that's nice.
Yeah, that was and the car, they have like a 20 car lot there, so everything was there. So it was perfect for doing that. Anyway, on the travels, no pre-check, of course, traveling alone, not with the keeper, my magical pre-check lady. So none of that. And it was interesting to see how people were dealing with coronavirus. The first thing I noticed is they still have the damn Zika signs up in the TSA line. I mean, someone's got to work on the print shop there.
Hey, come on, guys, roll into one thing. In fact, which brings us to a clip.
Oh, do tell.
Where is this clip? Yeah, this is it. Now, this is the talking about you got to move. If you're going to move from one thing to another, you got to move. And this is a good example. This is the Ebola's over.
The World Health Organization had some good news about a virus that's plagued the world for quite a bit longer than coronavirus, Ebola. The Congo's discharged its last Ebola patient, raising hopes there that the end of the outbreak may be in sight. The Congo's been hit hard for over a year and a half, losing over 2,200 people to the contagion, the second worst Ebola outbreak in history. It was compounded by security concerns, including lawless areas that medical workers had difficulty reaching for fear of militants or criminal groups. But now it's been 2 weeks since the last new case was confirmed. At this rate, officials may declare the Ebola outbreak over in a matter of weeks.
Obama, Ebola has that song. Ebola's gonna kill us all. Ebola.
Well, glad I could play some jingles then. We got a little mileage out of them just before it went away. Went away for good, the Ebola. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're rid of Ebola.
If it was as bad as it is, how come it only killed 2,200 people, especially in the areas where they had, terrorists that didn't allow that?
Well, we remember the phony baloney CNN footage of kids like laying down on the street the minute the camera panned to them. It's just weird reporting. Don't really know exactly how severe it was. What was interesting on the flight to LA was the face masks. There were some masks, and I have to say, props to LA. They were designer. I saw a lady with an actual Gucci face mask on the plane.
Yes, props to LA.
Oh my goodness.
And by the way, they don't want, apparently these masks don't work. And everybody and all the medical people say these masks don't work, and people are hoarding them, and they don't like the fact that they're hoarding them. And if you have any, give them to the medical people, because apparently if they don't work, they somehow work for the medical people.
Well, I understood it differently. My understanding is the mask, and if you think about a surgical situation, these are surgical masks. You look at the surgical situation, and in the operating room, the doctors and the nurses, everyone's wearing a mask. Why? Are they afraid of some virus jumping out of the cut open body? No, it's so they don't hawk their stuff and viruses out into the sterile environment. So it's really more for sick people. And so when someone's wearing a mask, I think you're probably sick. That's if you have it, that's when you should be wearing a mask. Not if you don't have it. I agree. I don't think they're going to be particularly effective.
Well, who knows?
Yeah. But the most important thing for me, and luckily I got an email back this morning, Sir Patrick Coble, the Duke of the South, is safe. It was pretty bad what went down in Tennessee, and it made landfall only about 20 miles east of where he is. His direct family and friends are okay, but he has friends and friends of friends who are in the hospital, lost their house, lost family members.
Tornadoes. For people out there that don't know what Adam's talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, actually, thank you, because it was so pushed down in the news and it was kind of sick compared to the news about coronavirus. It's like, wow, could you just mention the 19 people minimum who just died in Tennessee and like in Nashville? Like,
and what a wreck. What a mess.
Oh.
Now, it was pushed down, but on the networks, it was not at the top of the news because you COVID-19, but it was up there. It was like either the second or third story. And it was in the first block, so it wasn't pushed down that much.
Yeah, but you know, the incessant hammering that you get is just like, oh, please, stop the hammering. So, karma for everybody in Nashville and Murfreesboro, because they need it right now. No rain stick can help with that.
Now I do want to get I have some COVID-19 clips.
Okay, I got a lot. Would you rather do Super Tuesday before we go into, because I got a lot of Kung Flu stuff?
Super Tuesday.
Or not. I mean, however you feel about it. Let's do some COVID-19. Screw the Tuesday.
Well, let's start with the update then. This is the COVID-19, the ship and the update. This is ABC's wrap.
Okay.
In Los Angeles, a state of emergency. In New York City tonight, about 1,000 people are now under self-quarantine, all possibly coming in contact or linked to one man who was hospitalized in critical but stable condition tonight. His wife, 2 children, and a neighbor all testing positive. One of his children, a college student, classes canceled there. In Los Angeles, that state of emergency, 6 new cases there, including an airport worker doing medical screenings at LAX. The death toll in the U.S. rising to at least 11 tonight. The first death from California, a passenger on a cruise ship during a round-trip voyage from San Francisco. ABC's Whit Johnson leading us off with the efforts to contain the virus here in New York and across the country.
Tonight, a scramble to contain the spread of the coronavirus in New York. About 1,000 people ordered to self-quarantine, all possibly connected to one patient in this hospital.
That is another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And again, all off this one attorney. They're going to be hundreds in Westchester.
That 50-year-old father now hospitalized in Manhattan in critical but stable condition. His wife, 2 kids, a neighbor who drove him to the hospital, and another family connected to his law firm testing positive too. The number of cases jumping to 11. A local public school district now closing to disinfect the buildings. In California tonight, health officials say this Grand Princess cruise ship is likely linked to the state's first death from the coronavirus and a second infection. An elderly patient possibly exposed while traveling from San Francisco to Mexico. The CDC now investigating a small cluster of cases of COVID-19 in Northern California traced back to that ship.
There is almost nothing as infectious as fear. It's really being played hard on us now.
Well, you want to see, okay, well, I'm going to skip to my good clips.
Well, that was just an update, a backgrounder. I get it.
Well, let's go to COVID-19 death rate higher.
The World Health Organization said Tuesday the global death rate from the disease caused by the new coronavirus is 3.4%, far deadlier than the seasonal flu. The warning came as the number of coronavirus deaths outside China surpassed the number inside China for the first time. Washington State Tuesday reported another coronavirus death, the 9th in the region. In New York, Mayor Bill de Blasio said Tuesday a Manhattan lawyer has become the second person in the city to test positive for the new coronavirus.
You know, I love it when they just throw all these numbers out. And I saw Pooper on CNN do one that he didn't even correct, and it was reading right from the prompter.
Just moments ago, the death toll climbing to 105 cases across the United States. 6 people have died, all in Washington state, 4 of them residents of a nursing care facility near Seattle.
So what he meant to say was 105, over 110 cases, but he said the death toll.
Yeah. Of course. Well, it makes nothing but sense if you listen to this clip. This is right from CBS. They ran this thing, and it seems to be a long clip. It's 1:49. It actually went for about 2.5 minutes. And this was an expert from Harvard.
Oh,
the expert, the guy who's going to tell us how many people are going to get infected and how many people are going to die.
Well, wait a minute. But wait a minute. We all know who's going to die, don't we?
Who?
Oh.
We're all gonna die!
We're all gonna die.
Worldwide, the coronavirus.
I'm sorry?
this is coming close to saying that.
Worldwide, the coronavirus death toll now tops 3,000 with nearly 90,000 cases. But even those numbers are nothing compared to what could happen in the months ahead. Today, CBS News' Jim Axelrod spoke with one of this country's top experts from Harvard on viruses who has a startling prediction.
The number that I think is grabbing a lot of people is this estimate: 40 to 70% of the world's adult population could be infected.
Yes.
Accurate?
That is, it's a projection, so we will find out if it's accurate as things go on. It is a best estimate that I've been able to make based on a combination of the mathematical models that we use to track and predict epidemics.
So in terms of addressing the numbers that may get people panicked, what can you tell us?
Well, again, the 40 to 70% is a number a proportion of the population, adult population infected. And we know that some people who get this infection have no or almost no symptoms whatsoever. What we don't know is how many there are like that. So if, say, that's half the people, then the 1% or 2% that we're seeing in the symptomatic people is cut down by half.
Right.
Whatever the number is, it's going to take a toll. If it really does spread as widely as that projection says, and that's what I think is likely to happen, then there are going to be millions of people dying, and I don't think there's any way to get around that. And so I think there's real reason for people to be concerned.
Thank you for spending an extra couple minutes on that. That was worth it.
Now, I've noticed I've marked this clip archive, because if you do the calculations that this guy said, that means 200 million Americans are going to get infected.
At least one of us, too, is going to be dead.
Well, actually, 3.5% of the two of us will be dead. but if you take that number and you go 3.5, that means we're going to have 7 million dead Americans by the time this thing is over. And by the way, World War II, 400,000 dead Americans.
Yeah.
So we're going to have 7 million dead Americans. That's what this guy just said.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't do the math for us, but I'm doing the math.
Yeah.
But that's what he said. So let's just even cut that in half to 3 million. Let's cut that down to 1 million, which is slightly not even close to his numbers.
Yeah,
so there's going to be a minimum of 1 million dead. I'm not buying this.
No, of course
Bring
not.
out your dead.
Of course not. And it was a lot of odd things happened. So I when I got in Monday in LA, I watched a lot of TV. I watched a lot of local TV because they were gearing up for Super Tuesday and everything. And it's the way. Let me put it this way: having traveled out, I didn't see, except for the Gucci the odd Gucci face mask, I didn't see people overly worried. I didn't see people standing, within 3 feet from other people. I didn't see any of this. No one's afraid to shake my hand. None of this. Now, there are people who are susceptible, large amygdala stuff, and they get very tripped out by it. But really, this is an incredible virus it's a media virus. And it really affected the stock market. And we've seen this, of course, in interesting ways. And then the Federal Reserve cuts the rate while the rest of the G7 countries are saying, well, they're waffling, we don't know what we're going to do with our interest rate. Of course, they have negative interest rates. I don't know what they're going to cut. They're just going to start handing out money to people on the street. Here you go. Here's your debt, whatever they're going to say. I think that was an odd move. And you see the things that are being canceled. Let me just have a little list here. We have MIP TV. This is,
and by the way, there's an investment opportunity for people like shorting the market.
Oh yeah,
I think all these entertainment venues are going to be toast if this even just dawdles on any longer. One more month.
So we have, and this is very strange what's going on. Austin, you'd expect Austin to be lockstep in on this. Mayor Adler has said, no, we're not considering canceling South by Southwest. And let me tell you, next to Formula One, South by Southwest is the moneymaker for Austin. So while I totally agree with him, I'm not sure exactly why he's doing this. This is not his normal stance when it comes to nut job stuff. But everyone's pushing back. Netflix is now joining the growing South by Southwest exodus over coronavirus worry. So they're pulling out of South by Southwest. This thing's going to get canceled. There will be no stopping it.
We've had 2 or 3 or 4 events in San Francisco, the Google I.O., I think there's an Apple thing, maybe there's a couple other conferences, 4 conferences, and that's San Francisco has enough trouble attracting conferences nowadays with all the poop on the street and the homelessness.
It's hard enough.
Now they're just canceling out of
They've canceled the city. Done. Well, how about this for a cancellation?
Before we go tonight, some very bad news for Bond fans. The release date for the new James Bond film, No Time to Die, has been pushed back by 7 months to November. It's nothing to do with an evil villain or a femme fatale. Nope, it's the coronavirus. Producers say they acted after an evaluation of the global marketplace. But actually, the founders of 2 James Bond fan sites had called on the studio to delay the movie's release because of fears of infection in theatres. Well, we'll just have to look forward to seeing it at Thanksgiving instead. I'm Laura Travali.
Now, let me say that to cancel or to postpone the launch of a Bond movie
for 7 months,
that is not cheap. They were ramping up. They were getting going. They already got, the theme song was being promoted with what's her face, Billie Eilish. They've got trailers running. This is like wow. And now I understand if they really think theaters won't be full in a few months. Okay, I get it. But what are you really propagating? Italy, everything's shut down now. Willow couldn't travel to Spain. Everything's shut until March 15th, minimum. The Ultra March Festival in Miami, big music festival, canceled. It's like, meanwhile, over in the financial world, you've got a whole different kind of analysis, at least ones that I picked up to share.
Understand that, but
this is you're going to hear Ray Wong. He's from Constellation Research, one of these financial research firms.
Understand that, but when is the spread going to be under control?
I think by May, we're going to realize that this is just like any other virus. It's in the population. It impacts about 0.1 to 0.5% of the people. But it doesn't look like it right now. And people are completely scared in a media-induced panic.
Wait a minute. A media-induced panic? Tell me more.
Yeah, it is, because what's happening is if you so we know a lot of friends that are actually doing the testing. People are going to the hospitals or getting pulmonary panels. And in the pulmonary panels, they're finding the original coronavirus, not COVID-19. They're finding rhinovirus, right? This is prevalent in the population. And when you look at some of the Johns Hopkins studies, it's going to be 40 to 60% of the population is going to have it in the population, and 0.1% is going to be fatal, and a lot of people are going to get sick just like the flu. But right now, it is so hard to figure that out because we're short on facts. We're short on information. We don't trust what's coming out of China, and we don't know what's in the U.S. population because we haven't tested the population yet. And so,
yeah, there you go. What?
Well, along those same lines, this to complicate matters more. Besides what he said, which is a good clip, play the COVID-19 2 strains.
And I wanted to get your reaction to this global headline tonight. China, there's a new study out tonight showing that there could be 2 strains of this coronavirus.
Which we see, for example, in other viruses like influenza. This small study out of China showing 2 strains, one more common, one more transmissible. We don't know yet about which one is more common here in the U.S.
Somewhere I think I had a 2 strains clip. Let me try this on you. This is just more of the media hype, and this was very telling to me. This was Margaret Brennan. By the way, is she related to John Brennan in any way?
I hope not. They don't look the same.
No kidding. This is Face the Nation, and she has Alex Azar on, our Health and Human Services Secretary, who I think is doing a pretty reasonable job. He's taking a lot of incoming. His beard looks super douchey, though. I don't know what's up with that. But I think she was really trying to do a couple things. She was trying to cause uncertainty around the president's handling of the situation. And she was pushing so hard, and we'll just play a couple clips. They're all short, And there's one thing that kind of caught me. I'm like, oh, they're really trying to do something with the president. Of course, to discredit him, use it politically, use this politically. We've seen it building, but I think she was on board and was giving this a shot. This first one is, oh, well, of course, we wanted the answer. Well, who was wrong? Trump said it was a woman. It was a man. He doesn't know it. Everything's messed up.
The president yesterday, when he was speaking, referred to this fatality as a woman. It is a man. How is a mistake like that made? Because people are very nervous right now.
Very nervous.
Getting some of these basic facts.
Basic facts.
Right. Affects public trust.
Well, I understand that. It's a very fast-moving situation. Our Centers for Disease Control and Prevention were up late at night, very early in the morning, working with the Washington State Public Health Office, and inaccurately recorded that the individual was a female. That's what the president was briefed on. They've apologized for incorrectly briefing on that, but it's a very fast-moving situation. Obviously, we regret the error.
Wrong answer.
Hold on.
It was wrong answer. It was the wrong answer. Go ahead. I'll go say what you want.
Well, first of all, with all this bullshit about gender bias.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. That was the right thing. Who are you to determine what gender that person was, Miss Brennan? That's the answer.
Well, and the other answer, if you want to take it to something more sensible, is what difference does it make?
Thank you. Good point. Well, it's because it's going to be bad, people.
So in France, they shut down the Louvre Museum. They're telling people don't kiss.
Well, that's a stupid museum anyway. Who cares?
Don't shake hands. In Japan,
did they really tell people don't kiss in France?
Don't kiss.
So in France, they shut down the Louvre Museum. They're telling people don't kiss, don't shake hands. In Japan, they're closing schools for a month. Canada's health minister told his people to start stockpiling food. In the U.S., there are closures, as we just said, in Washington and in Oregon. They've declared a state of emergency out there. And the CDC said this week disruption to everyday life might be severe.
Might. That's
what does that mean? I mean, Americans hear this.
What does it mean? Well, it means might. It could happen, lady.
And they are concerned. There's about a 2% fatality rate.
And I appreciate that people are concerned. And that is why we're being radically transparent about what we know and also what the full range of potential scenarios could be. And that's why we say might be, but also might not be with aggressive containment and mitigation steps. Right now, it's important for people to understand we're not advising any types of particular measures in the United States like travel restrictions or closures. State or local public health offices, which are the front lines of response, might make their own decisions to do that. But at this point, we do not have sufficient spread in the United States that would indicate those measures, but we're not taking any of them off the table. The full range of options will always remain on the table.
So now she's continuing to try and make it all sound scary, and she has a very worried look on her face. But then the monkey comes out of the sleeve, as I like to say. And she brought something up which I hadn't heard.
In a crisis, you need public trust.
Mm-hmm.
And
again, with the public trust, jeez.
Inspector General announced this week that they are looking into this complaint by a whistleblower.
Did you know of any whistleblower complaint?
Oh, here we are again with the whistleblower.
So they tried another whistleblower scam, and here it is.
That they are looking into this complaint by a whistleblower that your agency did not provide adequate training or equipment to those workers who went to receive and welcome back Americans who had been evacuated from Wuhan, China. And those workers were not tested for the virus after they had that contact. Have you personally looked into these allegations?
Yes, we are looking into these allegations. I'm personally involved in doing so.
So can you say that this wasn't something that tipped off the spread on the West Coast?
So she's trying to make the assumption that because she uses fancy words, but how about Orange Man bad? Trump was not prepared, and people didn't have protective stuff, and now people are dying. The spread of the West, it's your fault.
That is absolutely not the case. So first, we take the protection of our employees very seriously. Second, we want to make sure isolation and quarantine procedures are followed as appropriate. Third, we appreciate the whistleblower bringing forward any concerns. We are aggressively looking into to see whether there's validity to the concerns. But what the American people should need to know is that
we now have passed well over 14 days since any HHS employee had contact with the individuals involved. They are not, nobody is symptomatic, nobody has the disease. Even if these allegations prove to be true, there was no spreading the disease from this, and we have offered, even though it is not medically indicated, we have offered to test any HHS employees involved. If they would like that extra peace of mind, we want to do that for employees.
All right, so clearly someone was trying to roll out another whistleblower scam. If it, where's the true whistleblower complaint? Come on, Margaret Brennan, this is just bullcrap.
This is very disappointing.
Oh, well,
I always thought Margaret Brennan had a little more scruples than this.
No, she got old, rusty scruples. No good. Then she led into, I think, is the trap, and the trap that Trump set. And if you recall, this coronavirus, as we discussed, is very coincidental in the overall plan that Trump appears to have had for decades of reigning in China. Although at first it was Japan, and then Japan messed it up themselves, and then he was thinking about China. And that was to bring back manufacturing, repatriate the money so people could build factories again, then mess with them with sanctions, with trade, and get them in a weak spot. And then, amazingly, coronavirus pops up, and it just messes with China really big, and we don't seem to be that worried over here. But anyway, what is the thing we should be worried about?
Do you expect drug shortages, as some senators have highlighted concerns there could be because of disruption to the supply chain?
So we're very concerned about the intermingling of our supply chain with China in particular. The FDA has gone out and worked proactively with drug manufacturers, and there are 20 drugs for which the entire molecule or a critical element of the molecule is made exclusively in China. And so we're working aggressively with the manufacturers to determine if there are any shortages. We are aware of one drug which has many, many replacements in terms of that therapeutic class available that may be in shortage for a short period of time. But I'm not able to, because it's commercially confidential information that's submitted voluntarily to us, I'm not able to discuss that. But this is a drug in a class where there are many, many, many alternatives available. It's a generic drug, very available.
What do you think it is? Lipitor?
Well, it would have to be something with a lot of...
Lipitor has a lot of generics, doesn't it?
I think Lipitor could be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
For all we know, it could be Viagra or Viagra.
Hey, now that would cause a panic. I've said this.
So you don't want to mention this.
Hey, man, we can't mention the boner pill problem. Anyway, here's Trump, and he's laying it out. He's now basically spiking the ball in the end zone, the way I see it.
The coronavirus shows the importance of bringing manufacturing back to America so that we are producing at home the medicines and equipment and everything else that we need to protect the public's health. And I've been talking about this for a long time. That process has already started. It started long before we ever knew about this. We want to make certain things at home. We want to be doing our manufacturing at home. It's not only done in China, it's done in many other places, including Ireland, and a lot of places make our different drugs and things that we need so badly, and it's not good to be dealing with one or two or three countries, and we do very little at home, and we're going to start doing it at home, and we've been talking about that for a long time. And a lot of the drug companies, because of what we've done in terms of incentives and taxes, they're heading back here anyway.
There you go.
A couple of things. This also probably relates to his visit to India.
Of course, it's the backup
the
nation,
biggest supplier of drugs.
Well, in fact, the way I understand it, a lot of those core materials or whatever the molecule, whatever Azar was talking about, they go from China to India, and India actually puts most of the drugs together. But the core elements, that comes mainly from China. But
now, just as an aside, I do have a story that comes from an intelligence source that comes from the India-Sri Lankan nexus of spy works.
Oh my goodness. This is
the way the story kind of goes, is that the United States had and we noticed this because there was a number of people busted, some professors and a bunch of other
trafficking stuff, and they
were stealing some of the elemental bio warfare material straight up from some of our labs. And then one guy got caught walking out with a bunch of vials, as you recall.
Yep.
According to this source, the United States is well known in intelligence circles, even though it's not brought out in our public, to do booby traps. And the weaponized
Wait a minute. Do you mean kind of like a tag on a dress, or that you take with you out of the store and then you try to peel it off and it blows up and red ink all over your face?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And so apparently a lot of people suspect, nobody knows this for sure, that this virus was stolen from the United States, but it was booby-trapped to begin with. And it was designed specifically to target Han Chinese, which is what keeps coming up in the conversation. Yep. People with lung structures, that a lot of smokers, for example.
We still have no reported cases in all of Africa where there's 1 million Chinese by itself. They're not even infecting the Africans.
And by the way, when we listen to these reports, I don't like hearing all these reports from New York and elsewhere about the dead guy, this guy, or this guy's sick, and this guy's another, without some ethnic reporting.
I agree.
Is this a black man?
Age, and ethnic. No,
yeah.
On
how
that.
Old? Well,
on
we know
that. Listen.
In New York, the guy's 50. We know that.
Listen to this. I'm watching Saturday Night Live, and you may, I don't know, you don't really watch that, do you? You didn't see that. No. Chris Redd, one of the SNL players, is doing the Weekend Update, and at the end of Weekend Update, in the applause, see, I clipped it. See if you can hear what he says to Colin Jost as they're saying goodbye, getting out of the segment.
It's just a cruise. Hop on. We good. Chris Redd, everyone. Black people can't get the coronavirus.
Did you hear it?
Something about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Black people can't get the coronavirus.
He says, black people can't get the coronavirus. It's true. How about that, huh?
Wow.
Wow, does he get to do those secret messages? I'm sure.
I don't know what the deal is.
I'm sure the black community, I'm sure black people watch him and go, damn, I heard it. He said it. We're good. If I heard that, I'd be pretty happy.
So the point is that this is maybe part of Trump's grand scheme, because as you said in the earlier clip, he was spiking the ball over this.
Yeah.
Well, our media is not helping anybody by panicking the public. All the toilet paper's gone, as I can tell.
Well, we knew that would happen.
That's thanks to my mother.
Yes, your mom predicted that. The sage, Nostradamus Dvorak, she predicted it decades ago. Hysterical pet owners fearing coronavirus, asking pets to euthanize their dogs.
Not pets to euthanize their dogs.
Yes. And the one, now, never let a good crisis go to waste. So we're still waiting for the Patriot Act, waiting to see, because that comes due March 15th, Ides of March, beware of the Ides of March. And the coronavirus bill is going to be jammed through, and we're looking to see if they're going to try and put bits and pieces, particularly when it comes to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, known as FISA, and the FISA court, if that maybe will be, pieces of it will be shoved in there. But the World Health Organization urges people to go cashless because, those dirty-ass banknotes, they can spread the virus. And this is what we've been waiting for. This is the way to get people to go cashless, scare the bejesus out of them. Oh, man, money is filled with virus.
Oh, we're all going to die.
The World Health Organization, they sent out an image on social media with their hashtag, so hashtag COVID-19, hashtag coronavirus. And here's their plea. Do talk about people acquiring or contracting COVID-19. Do not talk about people transmitting COVID-19, infecting others, or spreading the virus, as it implies intentional transmissions and assigns blame. So we can't even keep the social justice douchebags out of this at the current moment.
What?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's how you're supposed to talk about it. Yes.
So we have to have it. Now we have rules about talking about it. Great.
Yeah, of course. You don't want to upset anybody. This was my favorite from C-SPAN. If you really want the news, you want to listen to the show where you can call in and You're identified by the number that you call. So we're going to go to C-SPAN, and we're going to go to the Republican line.
In Tennessee, Smyrna, Tennessee, Republican line, Michael. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to talk about the coronavirus. That's something that's been around for a long time. Excuse me. If you look on your labels of Lysol disinfectant, it's on there, human coronavirus. I believe that China created this, a different strain of it. They released it to their people. I believe they did it to start a recession in China because their economy is so bad right now. And now they're wanting to get it over here in the United States, and it's working. And if they start, and it's an easy avenue to start a recession here in the United States because we ship things from China. You think about the bubble wrap. You bust that bubble wrap. It's got air in there. It could have that strain of coronavirus in there.
Dr. Dvorak, as a specialist in air pollution, is this possible? Could the coronavirus be housed in bubble wrap? Is this possible? I mean, could it be contained? Could it stay alive? Can it survive the container trip?
Well, I think the process of making that bubble wrap would kill any viruses to begin with, but it's a funny idea.
I love that guy. But he adds something interesting, which I didn't realize.
And it'd be easy for Donald Trump to shut the ports down.
Not this
and
part.
we stop trading. Then we got a recession in America. So I believe that people are really just taking this too much out of context because the regular virus, the flu, kills people, and we don't know if these people are dying from just a natural cause of flu, they're old, or their immune system is low. So I just believe they're just trying to scare everybody. It's a socialist tactic to try to scare people from going out, going on vacations, and getting around crowds of individuals.
Okay.
So actually, no, it's not on there. I thought that was good. He takes it as a socialist move. He also said that right on the can of Lysol, it says right there, kills human coronavirus.
I don't have a can of Lysol in front of me.
Yeah.
You caught me off guard.
It says right on the label. It says,
you have it?
No, the guy said it, and then, we can that's not that hard to check.
No, you can find it off of a
Lysol label. No, we'll just look at an image. Lysol label. Here we go. Fox News did can Lysol and Clorox products kill the novel coronavirus? The answer is complicated. Okay, good. Got no time for your bull crap. Complicated. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, of
course it can, especially Clorox.
Yeah. In Hong Kong, they're going to start handing out $1,000 to everybody, 10,000 Hong Kong bucks, so that's about $1,300 US, I think, to stimulate the economy. I doubt it's going to be in cash because that would be the wrong idea.
No, it would be in a credit to your credit card.
And we're also seeing, let's see, which I think was it Taiwan? Let me just check. There's a number of apps that are being put out by governments, but they're using your previous location history to see if you're at risk, and you get an update if you should check in with the authorities because you may have.
Oh, wow!
Oh yeah!
Check in with the authorities if you're in the zip code 94111.
Yeah, Taiwan. Here we go. The Taiwan government established a National Health Command Center after SARS. Okay, well, it's like big data analytics. That's what they're doing. Oh, the National Health Insurance Database, they merge it with the Immigration and Customs Database, and then they put it into the big data analytic engine that allowed them case identification by generating real-time alerts based on travel history and clinical symptoms. Oh, man. So there's all this stuff that governments love doing this, especially the techno nerds. Oh, yeah. We got them now, man. Yeah, this is great. Brother.
Well.
Anyway. So I still am. I'm not so worried about this. I like the Wall Street guy.
I'm not worried about it, but I'm worried about the economy, the effect on the economy, the effect on, for example, AMC, the movie operation with all these screens. These guys have a potential for going broke.
Well, Airbnb is seeing tons of cancellations. I've got multiple emails from producers who work in high-end travel. People have canceled 6-figure trips.
Yeah.
And they don't care. They don't care what the cost is. It's like, we don't care. We just don't want to deal with it. So they can afford to lose some money on it. But, Airbnb, that's going to be bad for hosts and for the company itself, which I don't think that's even profitable. It might shake some stuff out. And here's another. This is Andy Brenner from another one of these Wall Street firms.
But nonetheless, I think it's a total disaster what the Fed did and how they did it. And they're going to have to open up the spigots. They're going to have to increase the Fed balance sheet. They're going to have to go to some kind of QE. And, and quite honestly, it wouldn't be so bad if they did what the Bank of Japan did and bring in the plunge protection team, whereas the Bank of Japan yesterday bought $1 billion worth of ETFs, equity ETFs. And while I don't think this Fed will do it, it's certainly not a bad idea.
All right. So
I haven't actually heard a mainstream television report ever talk openly about the plunge protection team. That was like a conspiracy theory, wasn't it? When we thought Obama was using it. Oh, you're just conspiracy theorists. And it has a different.
I don't remember it being a conspiracy theory because it's a real thing.
Yeah, it has a different name. It's the presidential team on market stability or something.
But it's the plunge protection team is what it is.
And I hear that the Fed may even lower the rate again next week. You know why Trump is happy about this? He wants to refi America. He wants to refinance our debt, and this is exactly what he's going to get. You just, we'll just refinance it. Now, all of a sudden, our debt servicing will go down significantly. It could drop by a third.
That would be a great move.
Well, that's what he's always talking about. I said, whenever he talked about the Fed interest rates, it's got to go down. It's got to go down. And he knows how. He understands.
It's borderline minus right now.
Well, maybe he wants to get paid for borrowing money. He likes the negative interest rate, and I'm sure he would like that. So he's helped weaken the dollar, which is good for our export. He is truly at this point, he's like, Pence, there you go. We got to be rolling. We got all the conspiracy crap gone, squash those people, shut them up, and let's lower the interest rate some more. I think it's going to be quick. It's going to lower the interest rate. He calls up Rocket Mortgage. And we got to. I think he's already logged in. He's already locked in the rate. It's good. It's good for 3 months. So he said, "I'm locking it in, and we refi, and then it will make it so good for us because it'll lower our payment by $500 billion, perhaps on an annual basis." Well, what is our payment? Are we paying $2 trillion a year or something crazy?
I don't know what it is, but he could drop it a little bit. Wouldn't hurt.
Yeah,
definitely. The bonds don't have any real payout.
He's working on Quicken right now. He's trying to figure it out. He's got what's the other QuickBooks? QuickBooks. Yeah. So now, but you're absolutely right. Although again, restaurants not empty. People are not freaking out here.
Chinese. Go see if the Chinese restaurant's packed.
Before I left this past weekend, we have one right up the street. It's really the only restaurant in the area. It's Vietnamese / it's kind of Asian fusion. It's a very low end but great food. And they I think they move 100 people every 30 minutes. It's crazy. And it was packed.
Well, I think that's good.
Yes, but the things that people can cancel ahead of time, a trip, people are canceling vacations. I mean, it's very,
the media is relentless, and you have to always give them credit for that. I mean, if Margaret Brennan is sold out to the whole idea and she's on board,
of course,
then you got problems. Yeah. She's up there with them,
Well, along with this, comes another interesting news report since we're talking about the finances of everything. And I was very surprised to see this. It was on MSNBC. I think this is Ali Velshi. So it's a very simplistic report. But he brought up MMT. And for those of you who are new to us from the Joe Rogan show, MMT is not a cooler version of DMT, sadly. It stands for Modern Monetary Theory. And I was surprised that they did an explanation. So it's either a push or it's bubbling to the top.
An unconventional economic theory is gaining some traction thanks to the policy teams of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders. It's called Modern Monetary Theory, MMT. Now, stay with me for this one. MMT suggests that governments don't have to worry about debt because they print their own money. If we need to spend more money on government programs, we print more. But too much money in the economy could result in inflation. MMT suggests that we use taxes as a relief valve, pull money out of the economy before it overheats from having too much money in there. Supporters of the theory say the government should stop trying to balance the budget, period. They go so far as to say that policies aimed at balancing a budget hurt the economy by forcing cuts to programs. In fact, they think a budget surplus should be avoided at all costs. A government holding on to money instead of funneling it into the economy is more harmful than piling on debt in the long run. This is a very different approach than the pay-as-you-go proposals from Democrats or the massive program cuts suggested by Republicans over the last few decades, and it's a total departure from mainstream economic theories, one that hasn't been discussed a whole lot until now. Policy proposals from the progressive left, like Medicare for All or from Bernie Sanders or the Green New Deal from Ocasio-Cortez, often raise the question of how we are going to end up paying for it. One of the answers is we can just print more money.
Yeah. Now, you are without a doubt the expert, and I think you're a fan of the idea of MMT.
Well, first of all, it's not really their theories. This is a very well-established, not well-established, and it's not like
it's not well-known.
Milton Friedman but it's fairly new. It's got good theories behind it, and it really has a lot to do with the money itself and how you look at it as not a representative of anything, but just a means for buying and selling. And I would recommend the Wikipedia page is reasonable. Modern Monetary Theory is in there, and you can read about it and try to grasp it. Its connection to the Green New Deal is nil. I mean, there's no connection. I hate the fact that they put those two together.
Oh, well, of course. They tried to hijack it.
It's got nothing to do with anything. And it is pretty much, just to boil it down, it is pretty much that, no, we're looking at all this the wrong way. And your banker friend is a big fan.
Well, that's what worries me so much. The former New York banker is like, oh, it's fantastic. MMT works. And he uses as example Trump tax cuts. He said, look at all the money that just came in. There's no inflation. Nothing happened.
By the way, that brings me to a story from the meetup in Oakland we had the gay...
the anonymous gay accountant?
The anonymous gay accountant who has big clients like CEOs of major companies. And this is
he's a mover and shaker, he is.
So he's got billionaire clients, and all of them came back at him after finishing the next year's taxes with this. He says he got so many complaints he couldn't believe it. It was each one of them. They all came back saying, "Hey, where's my tax cut?"
But the millionaires and billionaires for the richest 1% are getting the tax breaks.
So they all got irked at him because they saw no tax cuts whatsoever.
Interesting.
Because apparently each and every one of them, they're all typical Silicon Valley liberals. You know, they're the billionaire liberal class, which is a very strange group of people as far as I'm concerned.
Who always say, please tax me more. I'm fine if you tax me some more.
But the billionaire liberal class, they bought the argument of Bernie Sanders and the others that this was a tax cut for the rich. So where's my tax cut?
That's fantastic. You should have reported that earlier. I didn't know that took place. That's great.
I just happened to forget about it, but you just reminded me.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they're all irked because they didn't get their billionaire's tax cut that they were promised. And that's what Trump said. There was no billionaires tax cut. That was bull crap.
Oh, man. That's great. This is why we have the best producers in the universe. We do. We do. By the way, Rogan liked that. He kept talking about, so your fans fund you. I said, no, Joe. These are producers. He's like, oh, that's a great way of looking at it. So no, they're producers. And I think he finally got it. I was like, these are producers. By the way,
it's not as though they're not producers. That was all bull crap.
Before we take a break, I am going to avoid small aircraft, hot tubs, canoeing in any water in D.C. And what else should I be on the lookout for?
What are you doing?
Well, I laid out the vape wars. I explained the scandal.
Oh.
And I took it, and I've become like a hero of the vape community all of a sudden.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's. I mean, that immediately got clipped. That was viewed 100,000 times, within 2 hours of the show airing yesterday. And, I took it all the way from the faulty THC, vitamin E acetate, people getting sick from that and dying, to the Juul scam, the write-off, and then here it is, IQOS. It's on the market now. And the vape community is like, I'm the hero. I'm the hero of the vapors. I need a vape cape.
Wow, you're going to have the vapors.
But as I was thinking about it, and actually Rogan made me think about it, he says, this is like kind of like who killed the electric car? And I thought to myself, oh, crap. I got to be careful. That's a lot of money. They don't mind killing people, and they're their customers. They'd have no problem getting rid of someone who's annoyingly right about something.
Yeah, I'd be stay out of the hot tubs.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in COVID-19, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
Yes, in the morning to the trolls at noagendastream.com. Let's see. The count is, thank you, Doug, 1,213. Looks like we got lots of trolls in there. This is where you come to hang out during the live shows. There's many of them, but also noagendastream.com, where you can listen to excellent podcasts, all functioning under the value for value model 24 hours a day.
That's a good number for a Thursday.
For a Thursday, it's an extremely good number. Yeah. It would be a little low for a Sunday, but I think it's probably about 400 more than usual on a Thursday, first Thursday. Also, a hearty in the morning, I hadn't even brought it up yet, to the artist who brought us the artwork for episode 1221. We titled that Biden Reset. And this was just so funny. And how could we not choose the Mike Bloomberg boot, the elevated boot that Darren O'Neill put together for us with his Bloomberg 2020 logo on it. Lots of people are. It's too bad Mike's dropped out now. Won't get to see so much of him struggling to mask his vertical challenge. I sympathize. I sympathize with him though. I got Tourette's. You don't want anyone looking at you funny. Like he's a dwarf. Like I understand it. It's kind of similar, I guess.
Yeah, we have some reports on this in the coverage of Super Tuesday.
Okay, very good. NoAgendaArtGenerator.com. It's a part of our Value for Value network. Tried to explain it to Joe Rogan, and he thought it was very interesting that we have some other guys who run a shop, NoAgendaShop.com. He says, so who is that? I said, well, it's just some guys. And they take the art from the art generator, they put it on cups, mugs, caps, T-shirts, hoodies, and they sell it, and then they give a third to the artist. They take a third, and sometimes they send us some money. He's like, what?
Yeah. Well, that makes no sense to,
Well, that's not true. He said, that's beautiful, is what he said. So I don't know if
but generally speaking, most people say, why don't you, okay, I'm going to just stop for a second and explain one thing. It's extremely difficult to make money selling mugs and T-shirts for your podcast.
Yes.
And podcasters fall into the trap of doing it constantly. Oh, let's put some mugs out there. I mean, Eric, who does know how to do this stuff, he couldn't make any money
off of it. Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't make. It's very difficult to do. There are some specialists out there, guys who have a real knack for doing shirts and and marketing them and selling them at a profit. It's just that it's not us.
No. And I think they have an in with the manufacturing side of it.
There has to be.
Yeah.
So the core competencies are not there. If you're a podcaster, I'm telling this we do have a lot of podcasters that listen to the show.
Sure we do. Hello, podcasters.
If you're a podcaster, you're a podcaster. You're not a T-shirt sales company. You don't have a shirt shop on Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley. You don't do that.
Is there a shirt shop on Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley?
Oh, there used to be tons of them.
Oh, okay.
And then and the funny thing is that even if you did run a shirt shop before and then you became a podcaster, okay, maybe you have some excuse. But just some everyday stooge.
No.
I don't know how to make money selling T-shirts.
No.
There's not a good thing to do. Or hats.
I can barely order the right size for myself, let alone manufacture them.
Well, let's thank a few people for producing as executive producers show 1222.
Yes.
This begins with Sir Flyknot in Medfield, Massachusetts with $1,038.89.
Holy mackerel. What does this number signify? Does he explain the one? Oh, yes, he does, actually.
Is fly not pronounced why not? John and Adam, you guys are the best. Something is a Unicode there. I don't know what it is.
Thanks,
This
PayPal.
is the contents of my PayPal account, which represents everything I've sold off of eBay in 2020.
Wow.
I'm writing War and Peace below. I encourage listeners to go to their PayPal sites now and donate their full balance. It's easy. Just enter John's email. No, enter no agenda at, here's what you enter. No agenda at Dvorak.org.
Yes, that's the one.
This donation ended up in the legacy account.
Oh, that's not good.
No, don't use my email. And I'm surprised it ended up there. I would have had to reject it if it was actually to one of my personal accounts.
Right.
Because you can't mix these funds. It is much faster than going through the links in the donation page. Well, yeah, if you want to end up in the wrong area, but that's another point.
Okay.
Just use
we get the idea.
Current listeners should go do some spring cleaning in honor of the Rogan appearance. It will be a major transition. I've watched Johnson's twit off my first iPod in 2005. Well, that's could you watch video on iPods?
Maybe.
Maybe the video iPod. As kids, brothers and I would fight to watch MTV when we were away from home since we didn't have cable at home. Adam, you've still got the best VJ hair. You look good on the show, by the way.
Thank you.
Your deconstruction is great with the Joe Rogan appearance is going to really create a pivot.
A pivot to what? Profitability? What are we doing?
To nothing. And how the world views your show.
Oh,
okay. I hate to think of the show ever ending, but I would want you both to get the exit scenario you want. I'd like the name of Sir Flyknot in the open mats.
Okay.
He's an Insta-Night today.
Yes, he is.
And request hot coffee and
Huevos Rancheros.
Huevos Rancheros.
Nice.
I de-douched with a donation at the New England meetup organized by Sir Nathan Lee Miller Foster and at the cattle. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble reading this because there's this NBSP : scattered throughout this thing. I have no idea what that represents. It's some Unicode mess up. At the Castle Island Brewery, my smoking hot wife had no idea what she had agreed to attend to, and my work and professional background is relevant to so much of what you cover, but that can be covered later.
Okay. Now he's drunk.
I'm happy to be a contributor and thrilled for the future. Blah, blah, blah.
Sir Flyknot, thank you very much. He will be Sir Flyknot, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's not officially Sir Flyknot, but he will be Sir Flyknot.
Yeah, but he wants to be called Sir Flyknot anyway.
Of course. Does he want anything from us while we're here?
I didn't see anything. He already got de-douched, he said, but give him a de-douching just in case.
You've been de-douched.
All right. The douchebagness falls away. Beautiful. Thank you, Sir Flyknot. That's a great idea. Empty your PayPal. Great idea.
Yep. And the email to use for all these systems is noagenda@Dvorak.org.
Yes.
Matthew Linton $910.30. We're rolling in total. Greetings, ITM from Scandinavia, John and Adam. I discovered your show 10 years ago while in the hospital after a near-fatal traumatic brain injury.
Whoa.
It's been a long and trying time, but I'm finally in a position to probably thank you both for supporting the redevelopment of a healthy and appropriately discerning amygdala, in my case. Literally from scratch. After relearning how to walk and talk and read, I eventually re-entered the world, only to discover that in my absence, my fellow Scandinavians had lost their collective minds voluntarily somehow.
Wait a minute. So the guy has a traumatic brain injury. He's basically out. He's a vegetable.
Reset.
He's resetting, and then it's like the worst thing you can imagine. Like, I can walk, I can talk, I can read, and then what the hell happened? That's like a Rumpelstiltskin thing, man. You fall asleep and you wake up and the world has changed.
Fast forward to today, he writes, and I'm a proud father of the best daughter in the universe, and I'm about to undertake the roll-up of enterprise data management modules into a single incredible ALM. What is this?
AIML, so artificial intelligence
AIM
machine learning.
Something L.
Yeah, artificial intelligence machine learning.
Fueled platform, global financial institutions, a minor partner in one of the in a one-of-a-kind pork farm. Our pigs are raised entirely outdoors and produce some. I bet you this stuff's good. Some of the highest quality pork anywhere. And he's got the Linton Pasture Pork. LINTONPASTURE pork.com. Can you order by mail? I love real pasture pork.
Can you helicopter fly over them and shoot them?
But most importantly, I'm about to become the knight of the No Agenda Roundtable. This may be sound trite, but I'm sure I don't know how I would have survived the past 10 years without No Agenda treatments. Oh, that's nice.
That's very
Every
nice.
up to 2 Thursdays a week. My donation, 12.21 Canadian.
There we go.
There you go. Hope it would be treated on par for peerage, of course. And credit purposes, please knight me, Sir Matt, Knight of the Casa Loma Wonders. I believe this donation also qualifies me for membership of the Club 1222. Okay, we have to remember to do that.
I will.
As well as an executive producer credit and enormous de-douching, please.
You've been de-douched.
No jingles, but a karma for the entire No Agenda community as a sincere thank you and best wishes for keeping my sanity company on a very long journey. Maybe a touch of dating karma as there was a divorce along the way, though it's probably time. Okay.
Wow.
What a story.
Yeah, that's quite the story. And yes, just to clarify, for both our Australian and New Zealand producers, they use dollar in New Zealand, don't they? The New Zealand dollar?
I believe so, dollarette.
Yes, the dollarette. For Scandinavia, we just do a 1-for-1 when it comes to donations and the levels, and we think that's just fair. I mean, you're our brothers and sisters. You got your dollarettes, so of course. And a little bit of that karma you requested.
69, dudes!
You've got karma.
Thanks, Matthew. It's great.
Sir Cal of Lavender Blossoms comes in with 420. Ha ha ha. 33.
Of course. Sir Cal, lavenderblossoms.org. You bet.
Great show on JRE. It was getting more and more interesting as the sativa kicked in. JCD, would you go with Adam next time on JERE if invited? Keep on trucking, my friends. Sir Cal of Lavender Blossoms.
You really have to watch the show, and I'm a little insulted you didn't watch it, but you had a show to do. I understand. Because I smoked the blunt with him, and the blunt, I'd never smoked the blunt. It was fantastic.
What?
Yes, I'd never smoked the blunt.
This sounds unrealistic.
No, it's not. It's not. I just never, it was never offered, it was never around. He also offered mushrooms. Like, no, I've never done those either. So
yeah, that's where I stopped the show.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Sir Cal, thank you very much.
Give Sir Cal a karma hit so I can go grab Tim's note.
Okay, Sir Cal.
You've got karma.
He's got some great products of his own. LavenderBlossoms.org. If you want the salve, does wonders. We use it here. This is not a paid endorsement. We don't have any paid endorsements.
All right.
You got it? Tim Rucker from Laird Hill in Texas. Tejas. All right, Tim.
Tejas. Which nobody says except Mike Bloomberg, apparently.
I say Tejas.
Tejas.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you and Mike. Birds of a feather.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim comes in with $375.85. He writes, I got another law. This is a lot.
Well, can you cut it down?
Wait, I got the what? Tim Rucker.
What are you doing, man?
What about Sarah Gonzalez? Where is she on here?
I don't have Sarah Gonzalez. Oh, she's way down. She's the second note. You need the first note.
Oh yeah, Tim's a winner. Tim, longtime viewer, first time. It's on a card. It's like a business card. Longtime viewer, first time donor. Could you please de-douche me?
You bet.
You've been de-douched.
And give me a job, Karma. Thank you.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Then he says, this is what gets me. He says, you're a faithful and loyal viewer.
Yeah, that's the best. Where is he viewing us?
A dude named Tim.
He's doing remote viewing on us, probably.
Either that or he's never watched the show.
It doesn't matter. Thanks, Tim.
Sir Dave.
I'm sure he's never watched the show. That's definitely sure.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Sir
Dave, 338.98. No need to read this on the show. Okay.
Come on.
Not sure what happened to the donation, but it's been come through to jive with Baronet Horatio's donation.
Oh, right. This is the one we gave him credit for because he had written a nice note, but somehow the donation hadn't come through.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia ceased to allow entry from 25 countries, including India.
Wow.
So I'm having to change my plans.
Damn.
Bummer. Stupid COVID-19.
Yeah.
But glad I found out ahead of time, so Travel Karma worked out again. Thanks, ITM. Okay.
All right.
Sir Dave.
Thank you, Sir Dave, the Earl of Saudi Arabia and all the Arab somethings.
No, it's America's heartland.
Oh, Marcus, yes, of course, the heartland. What am I thinking? Yeah.
Sir Michael, 333.33. Sir Mark, my brother Matt, and I will be in Austin this week.
Austin. I know, Austin.
We'd like to take you out to steak dinner.
Oh.
We were looking forward to doing the same this time last year, but Austin, Austin meetup ended up being at the same time. We had a great time last year and hope you're free. This is just asking you if you want to go out to dinner.
Well, and normally I'd say, I'd be delighted to. Unfortunately, Sunday night is always out because I'm just a wreck after the show. But Saturday, we are hosting the former New York banker and his wife here at the house. So it's kind of a work night for me. And we have a dinner.
Okay.
So sorry, Michael and Sir Michael. Sir Mark, and Sir Mark and his brother Matt. Yeah,
Mark and Matt.
We'll have to try again, man. It's just not the weekend. Try and get me a little longer notice, if you can.
Paul Albers is next on the list, $333.33. Crack Podius and Buzz Killian, ITM OMA here. NA Troller, GOB, and Proud Hog Storian.
Okay, let me translate for you. ITM OMA. OMA is grandma. So it's the in the morning grandma. A no agenda troller. She's in the trial room. GOB. Well, Hog Storian she's on Hog Story. What is GOB? Should know this. Oh, Grumpy Old Benz. Grumpy Old Benz. Yeah, I think that's it. Yes. It's all the shows on noagendastream.com. Surely you know that.
As one of the the note continues, as one of the many crazy cult members, which you were accused of by the Rogan show.
Yeah, I tried to play it off as church, and even I couldn't justify it somehow. I tried.
The No Agenda community, I wanted to give a warm welcome to those who may be listening for the first time. Talking to John's submarine can. Prepare to... hold on a second.
He's asking for a sound effect here.
Prepare to have your amygdalas as shrunken. Sorry.
Very authoritative.
While listening to Adam's... It's hard to do that while reading.
I know.
While listening to Adam's interview on JRE, I noticed it was episode 1436. 14 equals 3. 3 minus 6 equals 3 equals 33. And it was taped on 3/3. Message received.
And I even threw in a magic number here and there just for everybody to get all jitty with it.
33. That's a magic number. It's the magic number.
There you go.
I only request a hearty dose of goat karma for our new producers, Love and Light, ITMOMA.
You've got karma.
I'm sure the OMA doesn't mean grandma, but what's what it means in Dutch, so I just see it as grandma. I'm just making that up for myself.
I don't know what it means.
Sarah
there's Sarah.
Gonzalez?
Sarah Gonzalez in Houston, Texas. Long note. Before I had No Agenda, I'd become so sick of the mainstream news media that I had made the conscious decision to ignore all internet and TV news and just embrace being a blissfully ignorant person for the rest of my days. My husband, Roland, who's been a dedicated listener of the No Agenda show and executive producer since last year, had been hitting me in the mouth lightly for a while with interesting tidbits from your show. He finally slugged me really hard in the mouth on a 7-hour car ride to New Orleans over the holidays. He even hit our kids riding in the back of the seat, in the mouth also, although I don't think they enjoyed it as much as I did. They kept complaining about the kids yelling yay after Pelosi's job karma, which of course made me love it all the more.
Nothing like abusing your kids. Yes, very good.
Being able to make a joke about my husband hitting me in the mouth on this day of censorship of all things, hilarious in the name of overboard political correctness, brings me more joy than you'll ever know. As I've been a dedicated listener ever since, I feel more informed about the goings-on in the world, but without the misbegotten sense of impending doom that the mainstream media seems hell-bent on instilling in us. I refuse to be a slave or a douchebag, and I will be going with a monthly subscription once this donation wears off.
Thank you.
So thank you, John and Adam, for doing what others will not, including 1, creating a news show that doesn't make me want to throw up. 2, for criticizing both sides rather than only one we happen to be less politically aligned with. 3, for being funny and making me laugh every morning as I start my day. And last, for pulling my head out of the sand despite my best attempts to keep it there.
Wow.
I'd also like to thank my husband Roland, who is constantly hitting me in all sorts of places out of love and is still smoking hot and somehow even more amazing after 13 years of marriage. Also, to my kids who may resist being hit in the mouth, but will someday learn to embrace it and realize that pain just makes us stronger. And also a shout out to my friend Jeremy, who is also a No Agenda producer and accompanied Roland to the Austin meetup last year. I kindly request that you play a couple of my favorite clips.
Okay.
Sorry, there at the end.
That's all right.
Klobuchar's that's pretty good.
Yeah,
which never gets old.
Never gets old.
Says.
No.
Followed by a yay for the kids.
Yeah.
And keeping it real best. And in the morning, Sarah Gonzalez, give her a karma too.
Wait, did she have a third? You said keeping it real?
No.
Just those two and a karma. Sure, no problem.
I think that sounds pretty good.
Yay! You've got karma.
There you go. Thank you, Sarah's nice note. Love it.
Ryan McWhirter's next on the list with $333. Hi, John and Adam. This donation brings me 2/3 of the way to my knighthood. I have one simple message to all the listeners to the best podcast. This karma stuff works, so chip in. I met my smoking hot wife, Ashley, after requesting karma last time. This time requesting human resource karma for our twins, who were born on the magical day 3/3/2020.
What? Nice. Congratulations.
One of the twins will be in the hospital awaiting surgery before coming home, unfortunately. Jingo's going to get a little girl, yay, and it's true, and human resource karma.
Yes. Well, congratulations, Ryan. And so he says, this karma stuff works. I met my smoking hot wife, Ashley, after requesting karma last time. So we're kind of uncles now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, give us some names when appropriate. We're looking forward to it.
Name the kids after us.
And the two girls?
I don't care.
Yes. Hi, this is my daughter, John, my other daughter, Adam. Yeah, it's you couldn't be more social justice warrior than that.
Yay! You've got karma.
Neil Williams in Las Vegas, Nevada, 3:33. This is a pretty good day today.
It's a great day.
Hello, gents. For some reason, PayPal didn't send the attached note. I've been a douchebag since listening just before the 2016. How would he know that the note wasn't sent? Since listening just before the 2016 election. I am now on the way to the eventful knighthood. I'm just a dude named Neil in Las Vegas and needed to support the show. Thanks for everything. Can I get a short clip of I Got Ants? P.S. Effing great job, Adam, on the Joe Rogan show. You did well, you crazy son of a bitch.
I got ants. I got ants.
Okay, I'll play that at the end of the show for all the new listeners. By the way, nice job hitting the post on that, Dvorak. I'm very impressed. You don't even know you did it. You don't even know what you did. That was so professional.
I'm a winner.
Yes.
Andrea Shagan in Palmetto Bay, Florida, came in with $300.33. She's our last executive producer. I looked up her last name. I looked up her first name. I looked up the donation. I looked up subject line donation. I looked up everything. Nothing. So let's just give her a karma.
Yeah, we will. And send me an email, Andrea.
You've got karma.
See if we can figure it out for you.
It came as a bank check, so.
Okay.
Sean Fincham, and it could be just an anonymous person who wants to give us money. Sean Fincham in Portland, Oregon, 23456. This is an emergency breast cancer goat karma for any of my wife's best friends, or one of my wife's best friends who is diagnosed with it today. No Agenda family, send all your positive vibes and good juju to get our girl Justine in Chicago as she begins to navigate her journey to beat the nasty C word.
You bet. We all think the same.
You've got karma.
There you go.
Sir Clay Alchemist in Grand Rapids, Michigan, emailed a follow, $210.98. Well, I didn't see that email, I don't think. Sir Clay, I do have a couple of notes here. Let's see what it is. One of them is from him.
But I didn't see it come in. Alchemist. No.
And unfortunately, when it comes in as Sir Clay.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy in the email. Wait. Here it is. Wednesday. I've been dancing daily to Donald Loves Nazis in my head. Think you could play that today? Been working too much. My brain is just about fried. I need my amygdala shrunk just a little bit so I can come up with new sculptures for Art Prize 2020. Thank you, too, for bringing so much laughter and news into my life. Sir Clay, Alchemist of the Grand River. And as always, you can enjoy my plasticine characters at clayalchemist.com. And let's see. I wasn't prepared for this, but we have your request, sir.
Donald loves Nazis. Donald loves Nazis. CNN say that he's KKK and he shouts Sieg Heil with it. Wow.
Hey! Beautiful. Glad we could play that one.
A gem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Last one, I think, now.
No, we got
two more. Two more, yeah.
Michael, this is Reniker, $200.33. Chipping in, please send me some business karma.
You got it. Here we go.
You've got karma.
And we have another F cancer coming up here. This is Mike Supko. Comes in with $200.13 from Brookmar, New Jersey. I would like to request some health karma for my sister-in-law who was recently diagnosed with invasive breast cancer.
Oh, God.
On a brighter note, a few months ago, I requested health karma for my niece who is being treated for neuroblastoma in New York City. I'm happy to report that she was voted captain of her field hockey team, graduated with honors from high school, got into college out of her choice, where she finished her first semester and was granted her Make-A-Wish request. More importantly, although her treatments are far from over, her cancer is in remission. Thank you, Mike.
And so Big F Cancer going out for his sister?
Yes,
okay.
Sister-in-law.
Oh, yeah. Done with that shit.
You've got karma.
Get rid of it.
All right. That's our group of executive and associate executive producers for show 1222. 1222. And I want to thank them for keeping the show going. These segments have been nice and long, and we like it that way, even though some people complain. There's a lot of material in here.
These are not just segments of donations. There's stuff. There's actual content. I'd look at in the iTunes, the Podcast Connect, whatever it's called, from iTunes. You can see kind of what people are doing on iOS. And there's always a dip, but I'd say it's 10%. That fast forwards this portion. And so it's really only 10% that's missing out on some of the good stuff. Because, to be honest, stories, some of the good stuff comes up in these segments.
Yeah, the
Especially
story
for you.
about, yes, a lot of stories.
A lot of stories. Well, thank you very much. These are our executive producers and associate executive producers for episode 1222 of the No Agenda Show. You can put that on your resume, your CV. You can jam it in. The best place is LinkedIn. It makes a difference. People get jobs. They usually don't even ask, like, oh, executive producer. No, associate executive producer. Oh, the guy's pretty happy. It gets around. Now, of course, unlike Hollywood, there's no hookers and blow or anything like that. There's no premiere. But you can be proud that you are responsible for producing the best podcast in the universe. Thank you so much. And please consider us for the Sunday show. Please go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
That's right. We hit him in the mouth. Even the kids in the back seat. That's who we are.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
Hey, man, something really horrible happened. You know Britt Hume?
Yeah.
I like Britt Hume a lot. I think he's one of these old school kind of journalists. And
I met him.
Oh, really? You know him? You know him well, or just met him?
He wouldn't say, hey, Dvorak, when he sees me going down the street, but I met him and talked to him.
He's on his scooter. You're on your scooter going the opposite direction. Hey, JCD, what's up? No, none of that?
Not going to happen.
Okay. So he posted a screenshot. And I consider him like one of these guys that you trust. He's Brit, he's been around. He's got that long kind of head, that stern look. Yeah, he's got a whole vibe going on. And he posted a screenshot about the election Tuesday morning, but he made a classic mistake. And he took a whole screenshot of all of the tabs that were open on his browser. And the tab that was there was Sexy Vixen Vinyl, which is some mail order outfit with this, vinyl, hot Vixen vinyl outfit that I guess he was evaluating for mail order. Poor,
that's embarrassing.
Well, it's embarrassing. And before you know it, the problem is someone will say, he actually kind of said something to me once that I felt uncomfortable with. And before you know it, he's Matthews. Before you know it, he's Chris Matthews.
I do have the Chris Matthews clip. Now, I want to talk about this for probably a minute or two. Because I have Matthews's clips, and then I also I want to discuss the woman one of the ones responsible, who's taking nothing but grief, this kind of sad sack freelance writer named Laura Bassett. And, women with the last name Bassett is just not good. But
okay.
But she's kind of a dick. I mean, I read her article. Like Warren, I had my own sexist run-ins with Chris Matthews. And she wrote this piece for, I guess he was under fire. And before he got fired. And so on the 28th, she wrote this piece on Matthews joining in. She's piling on is what she's doing. I want to read a couple chunks from this thing. This is her article. It was in GQ, which she's written 2 or 3 times for.
Isn't GQ supposed to be, wasn't that a man's magazine, like a manly man
Gentleman's Quarterly.
Yeah, hello.
Gentleman's Quarterly, and that's the way you pronounce it.
Why do they let the enemy in to the quarterly?
The enemy? She's not the enemy at this place.
Okay. Oh, boy.
The allegations that Matthews, a veteran journalist, was trying hard to undermine were actually corroborated by a third party of the Washington Post. He's talking about he had a run-in with Elizabeth Warren, and accusing her of this idea that
a woman couldn't win.
The kill it. Why would he lie? He went back and forth, and she's defending Warren just at all costs. So here's her argument, because after this back and forth, she says the allegation that Matthews, a veteran journalist, is trying so hard to undermine, which was that Warren was full of shit,
right,
was corroborated by a third party to the Washington Post, which means nothing, earlier this month. There's no reason for him to harp on his veracity about the lie, except perhaps that he himself had made so many sexist comments over the years that he has a vested interest in Bloomberg being let off the hook.
Huh.
So that's where she starts off. Then she goes on with a tendency to objectify women in his orbit has bled into the treatment of female politicians and candidates. And of course, he went after Clinton.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have a clip, and she links to, which is the Chris Matthews before the Hillary interview. This is somebody left an open mic and decided to record him, and this is what you get.
Can I have some of the Queen's waters, precious waters? Where's that Bill Cosby pill I brought with
me? Man, this has got to teach you. You got to shut up when you're mic'd.
Yep.
Learn
in
this
2017,
stuff.
She writes this. In 2017, I wrote a personal essay about a much older married cable news host who inappropriately flirted with me in the makeup room a few times before he went live on the show.
I now can, let me guess. I now can reveal. I feel comfortable enough to reveal. What is it? What does she use? What does she use?
All right. You're almost there. I was afraid to name him at the time for fear of retaliation from the network. I'm not anymore. It was Chris Matthews in 2016, right before I had to go on his show and talk about sexual assault allegations against Donald Trump. She was never assaulted, but she's going to talk about this. And by the way, she has a lot of anti-Trump in her, like Trump hate.
Yeah,
and she's a Hillary bot. Right before I went on the show about sexual allegations, Matthews looked over at me in the makeup chair next to him and said, "Why haven't I fallen in love with you yet?" When I laughed nervously and said nothing, he followed up to my makeup artist, quote, "Keep putting makeup on her. I'll fall in love with her." Okay, so.
What an idiot. First of all, does that shit work? That's what I want to know. Does it work on other women?
Let's start with that part of it.
Okay.
Matthews is a silent generation guy, just before the baby boomers.
He's what, 70, 75 maybe?
Something like that. And he is Irish. Irish Blarney. The Irish bullshitters. He's Irish. His mom was Irish. His dad is half Irish. He's Irish. And he is a chatterbox.
He's like Joe. He's like Joe.
He's one of these guys, and he would say shit like that constantly to these women. She is so sensitive to, she can't take it. Instead of taking what he considers to be a compliment, she takes it as some sort of flirty insult.
You're so right. That is, in fact, the only thing was missing was him saying, "Hey, how come I haven't fallen in love with this broad?" That was the only thing that missing, or dame or something like that.
Dame.
Yeah, this is how these dudes used to talk, of course.
This is the way they used to talk, and it's not an insult. It's not meant to be an insult, that's for sure. It's meant to be a compliment. It's not really flirty if you're an Irish guy doing this to everybody.
Right.
I worked with these guys, and this isn't innocuous. But no. She takes it, makes a federal case out of it, and then writes about it twice as if there's nothing better to do.
Well, what she does is, and I think unfairly, is she connects this open mic moment, which she was not a part of. She connects that to what she experienced, and it's not very fair.
No, she's an idiot. But let's I just find it offensive. She's getting nothing but flack because 2 days after she wrote the second article in GQ, second article bitching about Matthews, she's been getting death threats and everything in between. But she kind of, he's an accomplished guy. Made him get fired.
Well,
this article helped get him fired. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. But
I'm not a big Chris Matthews fan. I met him. He's a nice guy.
There's a lot going on. He was going pretty unhinged over Bernie, comparing it to being, him being shot in Central Park by the socialists.
This is nothing new. He's been like this since the beginning of the show. He's always been.
Yeah, but the world around him changed.
That's what he points out.
He forgot his woke factor.
I've got his quitting here. He quits. He quits on a show, and walks
right off the set. Right.
Well, he didn't walk off the set. He didn't
come back. He didn't come back after that segment. He was
never
gone.
came back, right. And no day's notice. And apparently, according to the trades, that they were trying to phase him out under a slow retirement process, and something hit him the wrong way, and he just said, "Screw you, I quit."
Yeah.
And,
now, what I did notice, he was reading off the teleprompter.
Yes, and this is a good point. I'm glad you said that because this was carefully written.
Yes, and someone put it in. Someone put it in the prompter. That doesn't just happen.
He wrote it.
Yeah. Oh, he wrote it. Yeah, but they knew in the control room he was doing this. Someone knew what he was doing.
Well, I'm sure of that, but he wrote it, and if you listen, and I got one ISO of it. Between the lines, I don't want to play that first, but when you listen to it, he's double entendres. He's trying to say two things at once. He's a professional writer, and this is very carefully constructed. And I'll show you one example after you play the whole thing where he actually quits. And this would be the clip. Quits, walks off set.
Let me start with my headline tonight. I'm retiring. This is the last hardball on MSNBC, and obviously, this isn't for lack of interest in politics. As you can tell, I've loved every minute of my 20 years as host of Hardball. Every morning I read the papers, and I'm gung-ho to get to work. Not many people have had this privilege. I love working with my producers and the discussions we have over how to report the news. And I love having this connection with you, the good people who watch. I've learned who you are, bumping into you on the sidewalk or waiting at an airport and saying hello. You're like me. I hear it from your kids and grandchildren who say, my dad loves you, or my grandmother loves you, or my husband watched it till the end. Well, after a conversation with MSNBC, I decided tonight will be my last hardball, so let me tell you why. The younger generations out there are ready to take the reins. We see them in politics, in the media, in fighting for their causes. They are improving the workplace. We're talking here about better standards than we grew up with, fair standards. A lot of it has to do with how we talk to each other. Compliments on a woman's appearance that some men, including me, might have once incorrectly thought were okay. Were never okay. Not then and certainly not today. And for making such comments in the past, I'm sorry. I'm very proud of the work I've done here. Long before I went on television, I worked for years in politics, was a newspaper columnist, an author. I'm working on another book. I'll continue to write and talk about politics and cheer on my producers and crew here in Washington and New York and my MSNBC colleagues. They will continue to produce great journalism in the years ahead. And for those of you who have gotten into the habit of watching Hardball every night, I hope you're going to miss me because I'm going to miss you. But remembering Humphrey Bogart and Casablanca, we'll always have Hardball. So let's not say goodbye, but till we meet again.
Oh.
So he walks.
Poor Chris.
So there's a lot of, so I got this one ISO I took, and if you listen to it and deconstruct it carefully, you can see what he's actually saying is not what he's saying. He is condemning these newbies that are coming into the scene.
Well, the minute if it's related to the Casablanca quote, yeah, I can see what he's doing.
Well, there's that. But no, this is right in the beginning. And I want you to listen to this ISO carefully, and then I'm going to deconstruct it and point out that if you change a comma here and there, because reading it is one thing, but looking at it as a structure it says something completely different.
We're talking here about better standards than we grew up with, fair standards.
Better standards than we grew up with, fair standards. Interesting. So the deconstruction is, we grew up with fair standards, but these are better, and he's mocking them?
it's a mockery. It's like he says they have better standards. Now, if you take it with a sarcastic voice, you can make it work. He can't do that because he's reading it straight up, and he doesn't want to do that. But if I was going to do it, I'd read. Oh yeah, they're in with better standards, unlike our standards, which were fair standards.
Yeah, it's a good point. Let's listen again.
We're talking here about better standards than we grew up with, fair standards.
Yeah, it's good. He's right. They're much better. They're better than us.
And the whole thing, the entire structure of what he said can be deconstructed that way, where he is not happy with these kids who don't have a clue, an effing clue, let's put it. And they're coming in with their better. Oh, they got better stuff. Oh, they know so much.
Yeah.
And he was not happy. And that's what this message really was.
I'm just sad. I mean, the guy, he's been around a long time. I'm not a huge fan. I don't watch his show. It's like, he's a blowhard to me, but he had an audience. And they should have just let him go in a nice way. But I guess the noose tightened so quick he couldn't even get out with a little bit of, hey, good job, Chris. No, none of that.
No, they couldn't. No gold watch for him. So he's out. And you know who they're talking about putting in his place?
Don't tell me. Oh, let me guess. Someone established, yeah? Is someone already on the channel? Come on, help me out. Is someone already on the channel?
Yes, somebody already on the channel.
Okay, someone already on the channel. What's his time slot?
I don't know. It's a mainstream time slot.
Joy Reid.
No, you knew.
No, I did not. I swear to God, I didn't know. It was just when you set me up, and I'm thinking it can't be Vasectomy Boy, because Chris Matthews already has a great lead in from Rachel Maddow. It's like, well, who could it be? And it's already on the channel. Well, of course it has to be Joy Reid. Who else? You need to go the exact opposite. So good. Smart, MSNBC. I'll be watching. Damn.
If the ratings weren't bad enough.
Jeez. Crazy.
Well, so I just found the whole thing offensive. And I found a woman and she's so offended by this douchebag who's just talking because he can't stop talking. Get the guy fired. It's just it's unconscionable. Just beyond me. Yeah. But okay, whatever. Yeah. It's no, like they used to say in the days, it's no sweat off my balls.
Yeah, they used to say that. We don't say that anymore.
No. Because we're woke.
Hell yeah. All right, let's talk about Super Tuesday. And I'd like to start off with some anomalies that I caught while watching local television in California. On Super Tuesday evening. So this is after I was hanging out with Joe, my new friend Joe. Well, actually, in Texas, the way the polling was done, I'm led to believe, was very uncomfortable for people. And I shall explain. In Austin, I'll say for Austin people, when you arrived at the polling place, you had to choose the Democrat poll pad, as they call it, poll pad, which was really sad to hear that, poll pad, or the Republican poll pad. And you did that rather publicly. So you could not just walk up and say, hey, I'm just here to cast my vote. I want the right ballot, or you pick the ballot that you want. No, you have to. And there were people who I know who wanted to vote for Trump. So by definition, you have to then take the Republican ballot, but they felt rather shamed shamed of doing it. Like this, it's Austin. The people are looking at you, and then they just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like the way it should run. Maybe.
So what do you mean? The poll pad is, in other words, you have to go to a special booth.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm a Republican.
They literally had two different tablets. It was the Democrat poll pad or the Republican poll pad. And you had to say, give me the one with the orange man bad on it. That's pretty much what you have to do if you wanted to vote for Republicans.
Okay.
Now, I noticed very quickly on KCAL, I think I was watching, that the Texas and California votes came in very, very slow. Texas was incredibly slow. You saw 46%, and it stayed stuck at 46% for hours. And here's what I understand happened. First of all, both California and Texas used a new system for tallying the votes, a new back end. Very good. We love that. Hello, Iowa. But the local election, so city council and sheriff and all that stuff that you do, that worked perfectly. That was handled by the new software. The presidential delegates, on the other hand, were not a part of the system, and those votes were collected by hand by the DNC and tallied in a whole different world we know nothing about. And on February 3rd, they had announced, let me see, I think I have, Texas counties have started seeing updates. This is from, no, that's the 3rd of, I think, yeah, that's it. Texas counties have started seeing updates to the state's election reporting system that will allow them to break out the vote totals needed to determine how many delegates are won by presidential contenders on Super Tuesday. The refinements to the portal, what is this, 1996? The portal used by the state's 254 counties to report results come after Texas Democrats raised the prospect of a delay in calculating delegates. And apparently this was also the case in California. Although there was a report, headline, San Antonio results delayed by software snafu. I guess they like alliteration now. Let's not use glitch anymore. Let's use snafu, which makes no sense because snafu stands for situation normal, all fucked up. It's not the same as a glitch or whatever. So I don't know why they're using that. So I find that to be, I found that to be suspect, and it really wasn't discussed in any great detail. And add to that, Greg Palast. We all know Greg Palast. He does he work for any outfit anymore? Or does he just do stuff
that I know of?
Well, he does great documentaries and does all. Yeah. You don't like him? I thought you liked the Palast stuff.
No, I've never disliked him. I just that he's like kind of he's politicized a bit more than I like.
Well, in this case, it fell right into his lap because yes, this is something political. He did a short expose on the extreme possibility that Bernie Sanders would get gypped in California in the manner in which the ballots were handed out. Worth listening to.
Last month, the Golden State sent out 3,715,369 ballots with no presidential candidates. Most at risk, young voters and Latinx voters, the core supporters of Tio Bernie. The result, 553,000 Bernie Sanders supporters are at risk of losing their right to vote for their candidate. How did this happen? While California votes solidly Democratic in general elections, a huge 5 million Californians register independent, marked NPP, for no party preference. These NPP legal voters have the legal right to vote in the Democratic primary. But good luck trying. Many will lose their right. How? Last autumn, the state mailed all 5 million independents a postcard telling them they can ask for a Democratic ballot. Looks like junk mail. Only 1 in 11 returned the cards. Because students move a lot, less than 5% of 18 to 24-year-olds get and return the cards. Up to 86% of independents who want to vote in the Democratic primary could be locked out. Independents can save their vote by bringing in their NPP ballots into the polling station and exchange it for a Democratic ballot, but not a regular ballot, only something called a crossover Democratic ballot. But you must know the magic word crossover. Jen Abreu was a poll worker.
They have to specifically then ask, I would like to have a Democratic crossover ballot.
Lies.
And those were the words that were told to us in our poll worker training. And if this NPP voter did not specifically ask for a Democratic crossover ballot, they were given an official NPP ballot, which did not list presidential candidates on there. And I am unable to ask you, are you sure you want an NPP ballot?
I hear California protesting the report.
I don't care. This is bull crap.
All right, good. Well, that's why I bring it up.
That is another reason not to like Palace so much. This is a skewed report that's not true.
Okay.
First of all, yes, the part that's true is that you got because I'm an MPP.
You're an NPC, but you put down NPP.
I'm an MP, whatever I am. I don't get a normal ballot. I get this independent ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And I can go to the polling place and I signed up for vote by mail.
Okay.
Which most people in California, if you didn't sign up for vote by mail, you're an idiot. Because the lines were a mile long, and it was not everywhere, but not around here.
Now, may I just interject one little thing about that? And this is all just stuff that I saw, so I'm reporting it back. Many people who had done the vote in early and had voted for Wall Street Pete or for Amy Klobuchar were really upset that their vote wouldn't really even count in Super Tuesday because they all resigned the day before.
But the poor babies.
Yeah, exactly.
So
just saying.
You get these vote by mail things. The kids voted, and I voted, and we have a drop off box for the ballots. Specifically, is right at City Hall, and you just right on the way to the store. You drop them off. You're good to go, and that's what you do, and you get it out of the way. But you can, and I've done this. I have gone in. You can take this mail-in ballot. You can go in and you say, "I want to vote Democrat," and they give you a Democrat ballot. You don't have to say, I want to vote Democrat. The bird flies at night. Swallows do listen. You don't have to go in there with a bunch of CIA code words to get the damn ballot. They just give it to you. It's bull crap.
Okay.
And so,
well, thanks, Greg Palast, for playing. Game over.
So, yeah, they may have had this rule, but this doesn't mean anything to the locals.
All right.
They just give you the ballot. You can vote that way. I was actually going to do it this time because I was going to vote for Tulsi.
Uh-huh.
And, but then I thought about it for 5 seconds and I just voted on my ballot and said, who cares? What difference does it make?
Tulsi couldn't even win in American Samoa.
No, she got one delegate from American Samoa. That's not true.
I thought Biden won all of the Samoa, though.
No, it was Bloomberg that won Samoa.
Bloomberg. I'm sorry.
Tulsi ended up with a delegate.
Hey, let's just stop for a second, and let's just say that we've learned one important thing already from this campaign, and I'm very happy we learned about it. And what we learned is, even unlimited money does not buy you favor with the American public. This is a good lesson. It's not really being deconstructed because everyone's afraid because they all want the Bloomberg bucks to flow into Biden. But we learned it doesn't work.
No. We've learned, but we don't use advertising. The advertising-based companies like the New York Times, they're not talking about this.
What I have one more thing to add to that. How much money did Putin personally and the Russians and the troll factory, how much did they spend on ads to meddle and hack our election in 2016?
$110,000.
How does that compare to Michael Bloomberg's $600 million?
That's a good point. That's another thing no one's discussing. The ludicrous nature of these accusations. Well, that's because the Russians are smarter, man.
That's right. They're better messaging.
They're smart. They're smarter than Bloomberg.
They're much better marketers, man. They get it. They really know how to talk to the kids in the bag.
Yes, that's a very good point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, so this report's nonsense, and so the California vote was going to go. I think that it may still have been messed with because Bernie did win California, but it was really expected to win by 50 points.
Before we go to Super Tuesday, let's talk about a few things that happened before Super Tuesday, just to kind of set the stage, because you can't live without analyzing the full spectrum of what took place. Now, the first thing that happened on Thursday, I believe, Michael Bloomberg announced, it was Friday, I'm going to do a primetime talk. And he bought 3 minutes of airtime on CBS and NBC and CBS, 7:30 Eastern time, or maybe it was also 7:30 on both coasts. What do you think that cost him? 7:30, 3 minutes.
$10 million?
At least. And, I mean, completely blew it. In fact, I pulled a small clip just because, you can get an idea of what he was trying to do. But the imagery was wrong. It was a green screen and kind of had like an out of focus flag and window in the background. At least it looked like green screen to me. And if we had produced it, we would have said, okay, let's make it look like it's live, Mike. So you hear just in the minute the camera comes up, the mic comes up, you hear 1, just like 3, 2, 1, and someone cues. So to give it that live feel, no. Instead, he was so boring. It was so static. And then this is the kind of junk he was mentioning.
As the former mayor of New York City, I know it is critical that the federal government work in close partnership with state and local leaders who administer services and deploy first responders. That requires putting politics and partisanship aside. I was first elected just weeks after the attack on 9/11, a massive rebuilding security and health challenge. In my 12 years in office, I dealt with a hurricane, a blackout, attempted terror attacks, the West Nile virus, and swine flu. My method of leadership was to plan ahead before the problem arrived.
And really his whole speech was, the president wasn't prepared, he's no good, coronavirus is going to kill us. Meanwhile, he's touting how prepared he was for West Nile virus and for swine flu. Oh, please, Bloomberg. Two more.
You know what's interesting about that clip?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad about this because I should have at least done, some research. I was under the impression during his bull crap ads, which we've been inundated with here in California, and I'd have to go back and look at these ads, that he was mayor during 9/11.
No, Giuliani was mayor during 9/11, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, that's what I remembered. But then when I started watching these Bloomberg ads, I've been taken in, making it say, well, I guess Giuliani may have been out. Yeah, and I guess this guy came in, but Giuliani made a big scene during 9/11
right.
to rally the troops. But that would be because he was just in there, and Bloomberg just got in. So why wouldn't he do that?
Right.
So I've been misled by Bloomberg. He's a liar.
The other thing that happened was Michael Moore made a big boo-boo after South Carolina. Michael Moore is, of course, a Bernie supporter. And
the poster boy for vasectomies, I might add.
Well, you sure that isn't Chris, what's his name, from MSNBC?
No, he's not the poster boy. I mean, you look at Michael Moore, and there you're seeing the old woman look that you will get if you get one of these things. Just take a look at him.
Buyer beware. This is a public service announcement.
Buyer beware. Take a look at Michael Moore, and there you go.
So this is a minute clip. Listen to what he says, and I'll tell you what the fallout was.
We reported earlier tonight the reminder that Joe Biden's run for president 3 times. This weekend is the first time he's ever won a state. There are Democratic Party insiders.
32 years of running, he's won.
Here's what you said about Joe Biden. You're warning Democrats. This was quite a while back. I want to play for this in October. Take a listen.
Joe Biden is the center. Joe Biden is this year's Hillary. Joe Biden is not going to excite the base to get out there and vote on November 3rd, 2020. 70% of the people voting next year are either women, people of color, or young people between the ages of 18 and 35. That's 70%.
How do you square that with South Carolina?
South Carolina is not a representative of the United States. I mean, that's just a fact. South Carolina will have absolutely no impact on the November 3rd election. It is still the same. It's that the 70% of those eligible this November are young people, are people of color, and are women.
So on Black Twitter, this did not go over well. They were saying, well, why don't you just call us the N-word, Michael Moore? We're not representative of America. Now, I think I know what he was trying to say, but he's so insane that he really turned a lot of people off. And I'm sure that hurt Bernie. I think Michael Moore hurt him. Now, that's not to say that the fix was not in for Biden. Oh my God, this was beautiful.
That's, by the way, because I told you this.
Yeah, you are so. I'm kicking myself. I laughed at you. I chuckled behind your back.
You mocked me.
Me and the other mean girls, we pointed at you when you weren't looking. We were saying, that guy, he thinks that the establishment is all in for Biden. How is it possible? Well, holy crap.
I want to mention this one thing before we get too far away from some of these votes and the Bernie thing. Bernie was supposed to win California by 50%. He won it, but it was only by 30. So I think they tried to rig it because I don't know how Biden won Texas.
Well, I mean, he won Minnesota.
He never even set up shop in Minnesota.
Didn't run an ad.
He never put one office up. He didn't put a bumper sticker there.
Well, so the night before Super Tuesday, excuse me. And I was watching this live. It was happening, and it was Dallas. And first of all, I saw the mayor of Austin, Steve Adler, standing there, jizzing all over Biden. He was right off to the side. He's got this look, and he was just so I can see, because I hate this guy. Well, I hate's a strong word. I think he's a dick, and I'm going to try and help recall him, get him out. This guy's ruining Austin. I'm looking, he's all in love with Joe, and I can just see his mind going, that's me one day. Keep it together, Adler. You'll be president one day, just like Joe. I can see it. And get at it. What are you doing in Dallas? We got problems here in Austin. You suck up. So here's what happened.
Wait. He was standing next to Biden in Dallas?
Yeah.
What's he doing in Dallas?
Sucking up to Biden. Sucking up to he's a part of the system, man. He's a part of the capital E establishment. And the establishment came out and did its business.
I am ending my campaign and endorsing Joe Biden for president.
Uniting behind the candidate with the best shot to do it. And after yesterday's vote, it is clear that candidate is my friend and a great American, Joe Biden.
That I'm delighted to endorse and support Joe Biden for president.
Yeah. I will be casting my ballot for Joe Biden.
So here we have Amy Klobuchar, Bloomberg, and, Beto was the last one you heard, and Mayor Pete. Now, apparently, rumor has it, that calls went out, and Obama called everybody and said, you've got to stop. You can't run. We've got to let Joe have it. And I believe it. I believe that it was certainly Bill Clinton was manning the phones, and I really think that Obama put in a call because CIA Pete didn't want to give up. And then Obama said, okay. And then just all funding got pulled. All DNC funding, he was just completely wiped out. And it appears that deals were made. Elizabeth Warren just dropped out this morning. That's now official. Deals have been made. Cabinet positions have been promised. In fact, who's going to take care of the most important thing, an existential threat, not climate change?
Ladies and gentlemen, el próximo presidente de los Estados Unidos, Joe Biden. Let's do it for Joe.
I want to make something clear. I'm going to guarantee you this is not the last year seeing of this guy. You're going to take care of the gun problem with me. You're going to be the one that leads this effort. I'm counting on you.
So Joe Biden just said Beto O'Rourke is going to take care of the gun problem once he's president. Oh, this is very popular.
Yeah, that is going to go. There goes Texas. Hello, Trump.
That's a really. And may I just once again say, why does the technical crew at the Biden campaign hate Joe Biden so much? I mean, now the guy is finally on top. He's doing stuff, and it's this is great to be in Texas. I don't understand it. It has to be.
You just explained it. You just explained it.
They hate him.
This is the problem with technical crews. This is the camera guys. This is the lighting guys. These are all the guys, IBEW guys, all these guys.
Yeah.
They're regular guys.
Yeah.
And they like to be treated as normal, as part of this part of the structure.
Yeah.
But if you treat them like crap, which I have to assume Biden probably does.
Must be.
He is probably so they treat him like crap, and you believe me, they have more power than you do when all is said and done. You want to make sure that the crew likes you.
So while this is taking place, while the establishment is moving everything into position, and you do this just before Super Tuesday, that was I hadn't even thought that. You clearly knew it because you've been following them, and you predicted that they were going to be all in, and they rolled it out lickety-split. Even Hillary was on board.
Is the behavior of the establishment right now only furthering a narrative that somehow everything is rigged against them?
I just reject that analysis. I see it in a lot of places. If the establishment means you put your head down, you get to work, you figure out how you're going to pay for things, you build a coalition, you actually make change, then I think that's a misnomer. And if you listened to two of the candidates who just dropped out last night at the Biden rally, the very accomplished senator from Minnesota and the very inspiring, young mayor from South Bend, why were they on that stage endorsing Joe Biden? Was it because they're already part of an establishment? No.
Yeah.
Because they know how hard.
Let's play that again. This is Hillary's reality.
Young mayor from South Bend. Why were they on that stage endorsing Joe Biden? Was it because they're already part of an establishment? No, because they know how hard it is to get things done.
Why do Democrats still talk about electability? Why,
well, because
if
that's
it's
what
this bad, is there not an obvious choice, right?
Well,
on the
because
left?
Here comes the swoop. Now you have to resurrect the possibility that Hillary will be called in as a VP for Joe to kick the bucket within the first 100 days. Joe, what are you going to do in the first 100 days as president? Die? Okay, great. Hillary will be president. This is a real possibility now.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with my basic thesis and this I don't get from the insiders. This is my own analysis, which is Grisham.
The Hispanic lady.
Grisham out of New Mexico.
Latinx, yes.
The Latinx girl. I want to play a couple things.
Yeah, please.
The ABC rundown on Biden, and then I got to play another Biden clip. But I have to play the gaffe, Biden's gaffe of the week.
Well, I have a couple of gaffes. Why don't I play a couple quick gaffes and lead up to yours?
You play your gaffes, and then I'll play my regular clips.
All right, so here's gaffe number one.
When I get up in the morning, sometimes I wonder whether it's 1920 or 2020.
So he doesn't know if it's 1920 or 2020. That always works. Then we have this was a good one about healthcare, and I take no pleasure out of playing these clips because this is elder abuse. The man is being used for this particular election.
Yeah, and I love your shtick on this. It's beautiful.
But I mean it. I really do mean it. But I mean, I just take no. Well, I do take a little pleasure in it, but not real great joy. Here he is on the health care. Now, what are we looking for? Quality health care, affordable health care. Joe, what are we going to get?
And for folks in the working class, they're below 400. They will, in fact, increase their premiums. The public option will be available in my plan. We'll make sure it's not a quality. We'll make sure it's only affordable.
Okay, so we'll make sure it's not quality. It's only affordable. That sounds great, Joe. And then I'm going to take Joe's side on what happened here.
By the way, it's my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me.
Now, I saw this happen in real time, and I saw that it was actually Jill Biden who said, oh, no, we're supposed to stand the other way around. And she switched places with Biden's sister, and he's getting hammered over not knowing who his wife was, who also, I will say, what a badass. She just stood right up to those idiot protesters. She's like, no, I'm not having any of that. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, that's a real woman right there. It's like,
Jill, she's tough.
Get off the damn stage. Dr. Biden in the house. I like that. So those were, and I also have.
You didn't get this one.
No, I have it, but I saw you had it, so I was going to leave it for you.
Okay, well there it is. This is the self-evident.
This is the best. It's the best one. It's the best one.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Dearly beloved, we are here to pray to the you know the thing.
You know the thing.
Man, poor Joe. is bad. It's sad. It's making fun
I want to play the
geezer.
Biden rundown off of ABC, which I thought was a good one because it did mention the possibility that this is rigged. They hinted at it. They didn't want to go all in on it, but let's play Biden rundown 1.
And what Joe Biden said today when asked, is this the establishment trying to stop Bernie Sanders? And tonight, what Sanders is now saying about the race ahead. Mike Bloomberg dropping out, endorsing Joe Biden, and the phone call that Elizabeth Warren had with Bernie Sanders today. ABC's Mary Bruce tonight with the reshaped race for president.
Joe Biden today is relishing his stunning comeback.
Look, we're going to bring together all Americans. We did that. We showed that last night.
The former vice president swept 10 out of 15 Super Tuesday contests, including upsets in Minnesota and even Texas.
They don't call Super Tuesday for nothing.
He also won 2 states in Bernie Sanders' backyard, Massachusetts and Maine.
And we're told, well, when you got to Super Tuesday, it'd be over. Well, it may be over for the other guy.
Best week of Biden's campaign got even better.
And I'm glad to say I endorse Joe Biden, and I hope you will join me in working to make him the next president of the United States of America.
Michael Bloomberg poured more than $500 million into his campaign, only to win just one contest, American Samoa.
And how come American Samoa got the vote, but Puerto Rico doesn't get to vote? Or did they get to vote?
You get to, I don't know what you get something. You don't get to vote in the. I don't know what I lost track of who votes and who doesn't know why.
No, it's okay.
I want to mention to people they should read my essay that was linked in the last newsletter, which discusses why this is all taking place to begin with, because of the money. They can't let Bernie get this nomination because they will lose so much money because the bankers have already threatened to pull out. And we already know Bloomberg, who apparently owns the party, he's threatened to drop all his money. And they need money more than they need Bernie, and they don't think Bernie's going to win anyway. So Bernie's through. But read the essay because it's I thought it was pretty well structured. Now, here, let's go to Bernie, the second part of that ABC report.
Dropping out today, he pledged to keep his checkbook open to help defeat President Trump.
I will not be our party's nominee, but I will not walk away from the most important political fight of my life, and I hope you won't walk away either.
Bloomberg's exit came as news to Sanders.
Well, it's the first I heard about that. He certainly brought a lot of money into this race. I suspect we will see, a lot of money coming into Biden's campaign. Probably a lot of negative ads attacking me.
Sanders winning Utah, Colorado, and his home state of Vermont, and he's leading in California. But today, he was blunt.
Of course I'm disappointed. I would like to win every state by a landslide. It's not going to happen. What we are trying to do is unprecedented. All right? We are talking about a political revolution.
Okay. Yeah. So tired of it. He says nothing new.
Well, here's an interesting little clip. This is the Sanders campaign flaws. This is on CBS, and I have a comment about this.
Major, before we let you go, Bernie Sanders, he's got to broaden his support if he wants to be victorious. How does he do that?
Well, he has to not only broaden his support, but first you have to create a message that is more inclusive. And Bernie Sanders talks about what he's building, this multi-generational, multiracial coalition. Well, last night was a pretty good test of that. It didn't show up. Yes, he had decent numbers among younger and some minority voters, but not in sufficiently large enough numbers to do anything but win in California. But winning in California by not nearly the margin that the Sanders campaign expected.
Well, okay, now I have a clip to play. This did not sit well at all with the proto ground zero Bernie bro. Very, very upset and talk of war. Actual war is now on the table. Can you surmise who I'm speaking of?
Joy Reid.
Close. Chunk.
Oh, Chunk
Uger. And he was pissed.
We thought look, a week ago, I would have told you, I did tell you, Super Tuesday, I think we got this. Remember, we were talking about Whisper of a Dream. I think it might be over on Super Tuesday. So I'm not saying this on behalf of TYT or anything like that. We thought it was almost over. Bernie was going to win. Now it's not over. Now we're in a tie. And now we got absolute dig-in warfare against the establishment. But we didn't start the war. They'll lie about it again. We didn't start the war. They started the war. They've been lying about Bernie Sanders. For God's sake, on Castro, I could give you 1,000 examples. Bernie Sanders said the same exact thing as Obama. Everyone on TV is lying like, oh, my God, what an outrageous thing Bernie Sanders said. Obama said the same thing. No, shut up. Don't cover it. Don't cover it. Don't cover it. Obama said the same thing. Is Obama pro-Fidel Castro? Same exact thing. God damn it, tell the truth. God damn it, tell the truth. If you're not going to do it, we're going to do it, okay? And so you want to go to war, we'll go to war. And that is what this is. We cannot let Biden win. Guys, not just on progressives versus establishment. This is so important. I need you to understand this. Biden is not going to beat Trump. Biden is either near senile or actually senile. Watch any of the tapes. And Biden lies nonstop. He's going to get caught. The media is covering for him, but they're not going to be able to cover when the Republicans come for him. And when Trump comes for him, he's not going to beat Trump. The establishment candidate is less likely to beat Trump. Anyway, we just had 2016. The establishment candidate lost to a doofus like Trump. And now here we go, an establishment candidate that is far worse with his mental faculties under question. His record worse than Hillary Clinton's. He lies 1,000 times more than Hillary Clinton did, right? And you're going to run that guy against Trump, and we're going to lose to Trump again and maybe lose our democracy? Hell no. Hell no. No. Bernie Sanders is going to win this race. And I'm telling you right now, and it's not just, hey, let's go fight. It's also a prediction. Biden is not capable of winning this, and we're not doing any brokered convention where they give it to someone who didn't get less votes. Not going to happen. Bernie Sanders is going to be the nominee. I'm telling you right now. Yes.
So a couple things. One,
wow.
I feel bad for...
I'm giving you a clip of the day for that when you're done with your talk.
Well, I'll take it right now if you don't mind. Clip of the day. I'd hate to forget it like I sometimes do.
How diluted.
Well, a couple of things. One, I think he speaks on behalf of a big a big collection of people, the Bernie supporters, voters.
I agree.
And they know they got screwed. They did. They got screwed by the establishment. But I am, on the other hand, happy because now, do you see what the media is doing? This is what we've been telling you for 13 years. And I'm sure that the Young Turks, if they even know we exist, think we're a bunch of dickwads. I'm sure of it. Do you see what we're talking about, Chunk? Do you see what's going on here? I also looked into his accusation that Obama said exactly the same thing as Bernie. Very hard to find. Apparently, it came from a 2016 town hall meeting. So I only was able to get a clip that includes some hokey-ass shit music. But it's fairly similar. And you recall that Bernie said, Castro put literacy programs in place, and everyone could read. It was very good. They have great medical care. And that's pretty much what Obama said.
That's a huge achievement. They should be congratulated. And I said this to President Castro in Cuba. I said, look, you've made great progress in educating young people. Every child in Cuba gets a basic education. That's a huge improvement from where it was. Medical care. You know, the life expectancy of Cubans is equivalent to the United States, despite it being a very poor country, because they have access to health care. That's a huge achievement. They should be congratulated.
But of course, it was Obama. So, you know, it just sounds better. It doesn't sound as threatening. The way Obama uses his tone of voice, I think, is perfect because he's saying this is factually true. It's true, but, you know, we all know he's communist. That's kind of implied. So, you know, it's not exactly the same, Chunk. However, when it comes to Joe Biden lying, yeah, we've got some pretty good historical evidence. There was quite the fracas several decades ago, which needs to be revisited.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only need 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says, Newsweek is right, his memory had failed him.
So yeah, he's an embellisher, a liar, and even then he was blaming his memory, which could not have improved.
No. Well, it's the idea is, again, if people read my essay, it's not about anything but the money. They've already conceded the fact that Trump's going to win, and Chunk can think what he wants. I do want to say something about the campaign clip I played.
Wait, you just need to re-explain that one point. When you say it's about the money, make sure you explain what the money is about and who it's for.
The money is for, okay, there's a lot of money that goes into, and the DNC needs to collect as much, and Hillary used to be great at getting a lot of money. She's not going to get any money for Sanders, that's for sure. The money is not just for the presidential guy. The money's for the down ballot, and they're seriously concerned about down ballot, which is everybody else. So you have to have not only money for the presidential candidate, you need money overflowing. So it goes to the down ballot people. That's why you need a Bloomberg who'll drop $500 million on his own lark of a campaign. He'd drop $1 billion if it's needed. And then you have all these bankers who already said they're going to out. They're done if Warren gets in, let alone Bernie. So they're not going to be helping. And the Democrat Party, as I explained in the essay, is really the party of the bankers.
Yeah.
And the billionaire class nowadays. And they need this money. They're not going to get this money if Bernie's running, and Bernie would just screw up everything. They'd lose everything. The party would fall apart if Bernie got this. They're not going to let it happen.
Now, do you think that the Democrat Party believes that the Bloomberg money will help them retain the House and capture the Senate?
Well, that's the hope.
Do you think they have a hope, a chance in hell?
No.
Not even the House. They could retain the House.
It wouldn't be a complete disaster like it would be with Bernie, where they not only wouldn't have, they have a chance in hell, but they wouldn't have any chance in hell if Bernie was running, because there would be, the money would dry up, and then, Bernie can get some money, but it's a joke by comparison. And so, and Bernie's not even a Democrat; he's not even a member of the party, and it's a party. These parties,
it's like a party.
It's a party. Now, I want to mention that before Super Tuesday, when everybody, or actually before South Carolina, before everybody's, Biden's done. I happen to put these clips together, but the clip that really gets to me is the one where you listen to Major Garrett talk about, Bernie can't get anything going on, as opposed to 2 weeks earlier when you listen to Brooks. I don't have the clip here. I'll have to find it again, where Brooks on the PBS NewsHour is so serious about, the thing about Bernie, why he's going to win is because he's got a message. He's got a clear message and a clear vision. And nobody else in the whole Democrat Party has a clear message or vision. And so that's why Bernie's going to win. So everybody's all on Bernie and his message and his vision until he loses. And now everybody, this is like stock market analysis. Whatever the market does, you got the same excuse flipped.
Buy.
Oh, the market went down because a cow died.
It's a buying opportunity. It's a buying opportunity.
There's one thing or another, but this is over. It's over. And I don't even think in my essay, I do kind of indicate that maybe the possibility of the brokered convention. I don't think that's even possible now. Biden is going to take it outright.
That explains Donna Brazil's anger on Fox and Friends. Donna Brazil, who in the 2016 election had to resign from her post as vice chair of the DNC because of the way they screwed Bernie. Well known. I'm not making it up. She also took questions from CNN and gave them to the Hillary campaign for the town hall. So, or one of the debates. At least had a couple questions. She's a rotten person. I guess the Democrat media or the left-leaning media don't want her anymore. So now she's a staple on Fox and Friends on Fox, along with our other buddy, Marie Harf, from who was the State Department spokeshole for a while. And here she gets she gets mad.
We had Ronna McDaniel on, Donna, earlier on the program, chairwoman of the RNC, and she was talking about the possibility of a brokered convention, the impact that would have on Bernie Sanders. Here's Ronna.
It does depend on how big the lead that Sanders takes out of California is, if he picks up a huge proportion of delegates, but I don't see anybody getting out soon, and it's leading towards potentially a brokered convention, which will be rigged against Bernie if those superdelegates have their way on that second vote.
To that, you say what, Donna?
First of all, I want to talk to my Republicans. First of all, stay the hell out of our race. Stay the hell out of our race. I get sick and tired, Ed and Sandra, of listening to Republicans tell me and the Democrats about our process. First of all, they don't have a process. They're canceling primaries. They have winner take all. They don't have the kind of democracy that we see on the Democratic side. And for people to use Russian talking points to sow division among Americans, that is stupid. So, Ronna, go to hell. This is not about, no, go to hell. I'm tired of it, Ed. We're not trying to prevent anyone from becoming the nominee. If you have the delegates and win, you will win. This notion that somehow or another Democrats are out there trying to put hurdles or roadblocks before one candidate, that's stupid. I know what's going on. They are scared of Democrats coming together to defeat Donald Trump. They need to be focusing on what we're focusing on, the Democratic Party, and that is preventing foreign interference in our elections. Stop using Russian talking points, Madam Chairwoman. Period.
Using Russian talking points. And, of course, that's where I get the ISO for the end of the show.
Go to hell.
And I thought that was kind of useful.
I got that one. I think it's rude. I have a bunch of ISOs as competition.
Okay.
I have, and they're funnier, and they're not so mean-spirited like that one.
Well, wow, okay.
So let's start with Trump, World of Flutter.
It's got the world a flutter.
I got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow.
Now we got from a different podcast. Wow, good job.
Wow, good job.
What podcast was that from?
Well, that brings us to another segment of the show.
Oh, well, is this a whole different topic?
It's a very short topic, though.
Well, we really deserve to take a break for a moment.
Yeah, this is too short.
Okay,
take
all right.
A break for.
All right.
This is the Don't Walk Run podcast. It's one of our producers put as plug-in for our show to compete with you and Rogan.
Well, compete or compliment?
Well, compete, I think. Okay. But this podcast is I don't know this guy, but it's a video podcast, and he collects money on the fly, which I thought was interesting. And if you send $10, he reads your notes. And
no, he's not a podcast. He's a YouTube guy, and it's Cash App.
He's a YouTube guy.
He's got the super.
I'm going to give you a preface to his. He's a kind of a Republican analyst. He does political analysis, but just to give you an idea about his accuracy, play the Don't Walk podcast preface.
Oh, preface. Hold on. Yes, got it. Okay, hold on.
Kirill Zabrudin says, I'm a Russian who is getting more interested in politics. Don't worry, I'm not meddling. I didn't think you were. And I really enjoy your content. By the way, BBC suggesting that Bloomberg might drop out. And Warren will keep going. Bloomberg's not dropping out. He's got too much invested, and he did well tonight. He didn't do great. He didn't do bad.
Okay. So he's
This is right on Super Tuesday.
He's spot on.
So he missed that. So here's the plug.
And Bill Durkin says, do you listen to the No Agenda podcast? I don't. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to listen to stuff. But I do definitely, I go out of my way to watch at least the first hour of the Ben Shapiro show. And I go out of my way to listen to Sargon.
Boy, we're riding high today, aren't we?
Yeah, we really nailed it.
Well, where was the plug? I mean, that was it.
That was it.
Well, where does
Wow, good job.
Where does that come from?
It's another part of his show. I just pulled it.
Well, I don't know. What do I like? I don't know. I like my Go to Hell better, but okay.
Go to Hell's not the way you want to end the show. It's like telling us to go to hell. We did a good job today.
It's got the world a flutter.
Okay, we'll use world a flutter then.
Okay,
it's
I like
positive.
that one.
It's positive. I like the positivity of it.
Okay.
Woo! Can we close Super Tuesday?
I think we must.
Yeah. Resist we much, for that will much be forgotten.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
Well, we do have a few people to thank for show 1222, starting with Christine Codega, $158.10. She's going to be the dame. We have a lot of dames.
Yeah, we
today,
have
and nightings.
We got dames galore.
And birthdays. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
She loves. You may read this. You might want to read it because you like these.
Yes. Hold on a second. I was setting everything up. Christine Codega. She says, Adam and John, thank you for the years of infotainment. Please accept this final installment for my damehood. Please dame me as Dame of the South Coast, if available by peerage committee. I believe that is available. Shout out to Ryan Calderon for hitting me in the mouth a few years back. I'll save you a seat at the round table. Who knows where I'd be without No Agenda. Love you, mean it. Please add Spanish red and Thai peanut wings to the round table for all to enjoy. And I have...
What the hell's a Thai peanut wing?
It's something you can fist, I think.
I don't think so.
You can't fist a peanut wing? No, it's probably it's a buffalo wing in some kind of Thai peanut spicy sauce is what I took away from it. That makes sense. Adriana Oporto from Hayward, California.
$138.44 out of Hayward. Another dame to be. You might as well read that note from her.
In light of the great time I had at the Bay Area meetup last week in honor of Adam's appearance on Rogan, it is finally time for me to shell out the last bit of cash needed in order to achieve my long-awaited damehood status. I've been shamefully behind on my support, so I hope this makes up for it. I probably need a de-douching just to make sure.
You've been de-douched.
No Agenda has been a consistent source of sanity in my life for many years now, and I always look forward to the non-triggering amygdala-shrinking greatness on both Thursdays and Sundays of the week. This is why I don't make fun of Joe Biden when he says Super Thursday, because I'm just as bad as Joe when it comes to that. You two are a beacon of hope in a world that seems to be forgetting how to think critically. I would like to be known as Dame Phoenix of the Port. I also request the humble pairing of spiked seltzer and steak at the round table. And she had some jingles, which, we played all of these so far today anyway. Do you have to play everyone's jingles here?
No, it's okay. We don't need jingles.
I want to make sure I've got the spiked seltzer and steak at the round table.
Well, you write that down. I'll go on with the announcements. Sir Hugger of Kitty's Baron of the Groningen gas fields in Holland.
Groningen. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5. Apparently his mail doesn't come through to me because he sounds like a gambling site. Baron Latican, $100. Jennifer Rudiger. In Bonnie Lake, Washington, $100.
And she's crediting that to her smoking hot husband, Brian, in his quest for knighthood.
Good.
Bet.
John Robinet, $100. William Durkin, $73.33. Baron Mark Tanner, a regular in Whittier, with a new donation amount, $71.77, which is not what he usually gives, which was $6,996, I think. Meanwhile, William Foreman comes in with $69.69.
And he has an accounting here. John and Adam, I was checking my accounting on a couple monthly donation plans. I realized it's time for me to join the roundtable. Been listening since early 2009. Fell overboard once, but never again. I hit my friend Scott Richardson in the mouth a few years ago, and he's since called me out as a douchebag twice. Just because I'm on a small monthly donation doesn't mean I'm not helping out. That's true. That's true. Scott isn't a douchebag. In fact, he should be knighted today as well, so good for him. I'd like a de-douching, please, to cleanse my name.
You've been de-douched.
Also, just to add to the growing No Agenda family statistics, I am a millennial, I'm a tennis coach, and currently am the pro shop manager at a high-end country club. Nice. And he's in Mississippi. I have voted in every election since I was 18. I own a gun, will only drive a car with manual transmission, and have a dog. His name is Roger. He's a good boy, and I do tend to treat him like a person. However, that does not mean I take him places that dogs are not allowed and pretend he's some sort of service dog. Thank you. Those people make me sick. Roger is well-trained and likes to travel. He is a good dog ambassador. Not like these crazy barking, pooping everywhere dogs that people think are their kids. Can't stand it. For the knighting ceremony, I'd like to be simply known as Sir Foreman. Also, I'm sending it in my birthday, 3388, turning 32 this time around. Been lucky numbers for me so far. So if you could kindly put me on the birthday list as well, that'd be swell. Oh, and not technically a jingle, but John, could you please officially look out your window and check on the mud flats for me?
They're muddier than ever today. It's like it must be a low tide. All right, good for you. Rick Gibbs is next on the list. 6803. He's got a birthday to his brother. That's coming up. Eric Hoff in Edmonton, Alberta, $65. Scott Richardson in New Orleans, Louisiana, 6006. Adam Wiesner.
Hold on. Scott becomes a knight today. He'd like to be knighted. Sir, this is his William's buddy, Sir Scott on the rocks. And please bring back crawfish and cane break to the round table. I ordered those yesterday, as that will also be his dinner tonight. Yes. Thank you for keeping me sane since 2015. You got it, Scott. See you in a moment.
Well, Adam Weisner in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Barry, $55.11. Oh, Scott's $60. Barry's $55.11. And this very short note.
Yes. In honor of Adam's appearance on Rogan, I figured it was time to formally complete my knighthood.
We've cleaned up on this Rogan thing.
Shall I tell you what I like the most? Is that the producers took great ownership of this appearance, and I really appreciated that. I had people prepping me. I was working on this interview for several weeks in my head, and people were saying, here's what, how it works. I watch Rogan, of course, but not as we have huge crossover. Lots of people who listen to this show listen to Rogan. And every note that I got was a collective feeling of ownership from the producers of the show. And that's all I need to say about it.
Well, that's not, let me stop and give you a note that I got. Just the gist of it.
Just to be a dick, or?
Yeah, just to be a dick.
Okay.
Well, I'm not the dick. The guy says, hey, you guys are going to get a bunch of Rogan people listening. They're not going to put up with the bull crap you put at the beginning of the show. It's just a bunch of chit-chat. You're going to have to get into it really quick. Otherwise, they're going to tune out.
Well, see, trying to help us take advantage of the Rogan bump.
The Rogan bump. That's good.
Anyway, this donation, along with my monthly donations, 2012, brings me significantly past the threshold. I'd like to be known as Sir Dude named Barry. Please provide broccoli and potatoes at the round table. Consider it done.
Ugh. Dame Swag, that's my daughter. Dame Schwagerprance in Fullerton, California, 5510, a birthday coming up for somebody.
Her smoking hot husband.
Barnhouse in Dallas, Texas, Bradley Shellnut, 5510. Brian Furley, I think it's Furley, 5510. Sir Tom Derry, I have no idea why there's so many 5510s today in DeForest, Wisconsin. Sir Tom. Sir Got Nate in Sebastopol, he comes in every month at 5510, maybe twice. Dame Bear of the Bend, $55, a birthday. Got a douchebag call out, which is this is a call out to my brother-in-law, the brother of Sir Ryan of Central Oregon. You're a douchebag. Douchebag. You're listening without donating. It's getting embarrassing. So here, okay, I'll finish it. So look, here's the deal. Look, because your birthday is on a show day, you're getting a donation towards your very own knighthood. It's just a start. But don't let it go too far. Happy birthday, bro, for the birthday list. His name is Aaron, and he's 38 today. Okay, you're on the – I think he's on there. This is birthday.
Yeah,
Aaron.
He's there. Yeah, he's there. And that's Sir Dame Bear of Bend. Thank you for doing that.
Bear of Bend, the Bear. BioLife of Member Brewery, Oak Grove, Missouri, 5444. Michael Gates, 5280. Eric Hokel, our buddy in Molrose, Deutschland, 52. Sean Hines, 5169. Again,
this donation comes as a result of Adam's successful pronunciation of epidemiology on the Joe Rogan Experience. That's true. I nailed it. I did nail it. And that's because of you, Dvorak. You helped me with that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it was very good.
I'll be on my list of credits. I'll be a voice coach. Michael Janoski is $50 from Lindora, Pennsylvania. The following people are $50 donors. Name and location. Starting with Michael, then Bradley Ledden, Andrew Oxenham, and Andrew Oxenham. He's in Knoxville, Tennessee. Colin Preston in Oregon City. David Bellinger, another birthday in Walnut Creek.
For his smoking hot wife, Nancy. And
Unbelievable number of birthdays
They
today.
said, we had a great time meeting John and everyone else at the Oakland meetup. We were the government workers.
Oh, the government workers.
They want a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Nicholas Zumas in Newport Richey, Florida. Matthew Januszewski in Chicago. Bradley Schroeder in Milton, Georgia. Sir Brian Watson in Raleigh, North Carolina. John Horner in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. And last but not least, Aichi Kitagawa over here in San Francisco, California. I want to thank all these folks for contributing to the show 1222. It makes it all happen possible.
Yes, thank you. You are the producers. You make it happen. And once again, you've done a great job. Thank you for this. And also thanks everybody who helped out for this show, sending in ideas, comments, clips, questions, experiences. You guys truly are the best producers in the universe. And we will do this all over again on Sunday. We'd like you to help us out by going to
Dvorak.org/NA.
Okay, we have some job requests.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
It's your birthday. Oh no,
Here we go. It's not a great long list, but it's longer than normal, certainly in the past couple of shows. Drew Sample celebrated his birthday yesterday. Professor Orr celebrates today, and this is a happy birthday from his secret admirer. William Foreman turned 32 on March 3rd. Rick Gibbs says happy birthday to his brother Jeff, turned 52 yesterday. Dame Swaggerprant says happy birthday to her smoking hot husband Stephen. He turned 50 on March 2nd. Dame Bear of Ben, you just heard her say happy birthday to Aaron, 38 on March 3rd. David Belanger, his smoking hot wife Nancy, and I'd like to say happy birthday to my little baby sister Willow Curry, celebrates today, March 5th. Happy birthday for everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. Whew. Wasn't too bad. We have multiple damings and nightings. Was that it? Oh, I pulled two. Hold on.
You pull it out of here. I ain't supposed to pull it out.
All right. I pulled out two. Let me put one back in. Okay. Pull it out.
Good.
Do you have it?
Yes, you jammed it in there.
Well, pull it out again.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you got it. Jeez, like the sword and the stone around here. Up on stage, we need Christine Codega, Adriana Oporto, Anonymous, Matthew Linton, William Foreman, Scott Richardson, and Barry. All of you today join the roundtable of the No Agenda Knights and James, thanks to your support in the amount of $1,000 or more. And I'm very honored and pleased and proud to pronounce the Dame of the South Coast, Dame Phoenix of the Port, Sir Flyknot, Sir Matt, Knight of the Casaloma Wonders, Sir Foreman, Sir Scott of the Rocks, and Sir Dude named Barry. For you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Hot Coffee and Huevos Rancheros, Spanish Red and Thai Peanut Wings, Crawfish and Cane Break, Spiked Seltzer and Steak, Broccoli and Potatoes, Ginger Ale and Gerbils, and, of course, Mutton and Mead is there for you at noagendanation.com. Well, actually, the Mutton and Mead is here at the round table. There's a lot of chairs here. I'm very proud of the amount of chairs we have. Thank you all. You now can use your titles. It is either a knight or dame, a sir or lady, as you prefer. And again, go to noagendanation.com/rings. Eric the Shill will be extremely happy to take your details and send off your No Agenda Knight /Dame ring along with the sealing wax, which Joe Rogan found very funny. He said they actually have sealing wax? Yep. So they send it off? Yep. They send us mail all the time. I get letters all the time, don't you, John? With the seal, with the wax seal.
It's cool.
Very cool. And thank you all, and welcome to the No Agenda Round Table.
No Agenda Meetup.
Yeah, it's like a party. Hey, that's right. And there's a party happening tonight, a No Agenda Meetup, Michigan Local 1. They're doing it at the Chick-fil-A in the Somerset Mall. Lisa organizing for you at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the Twin Peaks Sports Bar, Baron Bob of High Point will be there to welcome you. Oregon Local 33 on Friday. That'll be at the Coin Jam. No kids, over 21 only. Tim, executive producer from episode 962, is hosting for you. Friday, the Day of the Dude, Miami. March 6th is the annual Sacred High Holy Day of Dudism. And Alex will be organizing the meetup at Hookah and More in Miami, Florida. Saturday, Nashville 6-week cycle. This is an important one. Things may change depending on the situation in Nashville, so make sure you see if Rich B is changing anything in the venues or the times. It may be a postpone because obviously we've had some crazy crap going down in Nashville. And that'll be Saturday at 7. NoAgendaMeetups.com is where you can find all the details. There's tons of them. Just a quick look. I see Mississippi. I see Connecticut. I see Amsterdam. I see Denver. I see Charleston, all coming up in the next week or two. Go to NoAgendaMeetups.com. And if you don't find one there, it's very easy to start your own. NoAgendaMeetups.com.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
I just have a quick little news blurb that I caught this morning. And this is the reason I want to bring it up. It's one of our favorite things the FBI does. The FBI is always great at entrapment, basically. You know, they'll get someone who has, low IQ, and they'll jack them all up. And, hey, man, you like killing Muslims, don't you? Yeah. Hey, we'll get you some guns. A bomb? How about a bomb? Yeah, I'd love a bomb. Okay. Hey, man, he's just dialed the cell phone. It'll blow up. Okay. And then they arrest him. They sucker these people in. Well, now there is a claim by Lori Loughlin. We know her well. She got in trouble for the college admission scam. And she alleges and has apparent evidence that the mastermind on the college's side, the guy named Singer, that the FBI forced this guy to lie to the parents about paying bribes and coerced him into telling the parents they were legitimate donations. This is a problem. This is a problem for the prosecution of this. Yeah. The couple claims to have proof that the mastermind behind the sprawling scheme, Rick Singer, was told by FBI agents to lie about whether parents knew they were paying bribes rather than legitimate donations. February 26th motion to postpone. Laughlin Giannulli's upcoming trial date, attorney Sean Berkowitz wrote the prosecution had handed over notes from Singer's iPhone describing the alleged FBI coercion. Singer's notes indicate that FBI agents yelled at him and instructed him to lie by saying that he told his clients who participated in the alleged side door scheme that their payments were bribes rather than legitimate donations that went to the schools. This is a lawsuit waiting to happen. They're going the other way, and you're messing with the wrong people. You got people with money, and they're figuring this out. No. Very Hollywood connections. Yeah. Ooh, very, very bad. And most of the people are well healed. Yeah, it's not like you're screwing with some dumb guy that happens to be, no. Yeah, some normal moron that you get to push a button or something. Yeah. Huh. Crazy. Oh, this could be bad. Yeah, I think so. Well, we have, I got a funny clip. There, the Iranians have had a lot of riots. They don't get reported a lot about here, but and they killed a lot of people in there because they shoot good bullets at them to break up the riots. And I was listening to this report, just from Democracy Now! And Amy. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking, it's about Iranians killing protesters. Mm-hmm. How do you, let's see, I've got a report on Iranians killing. How can I somehow blame Trump I can't wait.
Amnesty International reports Iranian security forces shot and killed at least 23 children during a crackdown on anti-government protests in November. Among those struck and killed by live ammunition was a girl who may have been as young as 8 years old. Security forces killed many as 1,500 unarmed demonstrators and bystanders during the November protests, which were sparked by a sharp increase in gas prices. The rising fuel costs came amidst devastating sanctions imposed by the U.S. after President Trump withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal.
Orange man bad. There it is, Amy. Good job. Good job. You did it again.
Yeah. Very creative.
Damn grammar school protesters.
Meanwhile, another report from Democracy Now! And Amy, out to get, just to embarrass Trump because she wants Bernie to win. But, of course, that's going to go nowhere. Let's go with Trump rehired this guy McEntee to do what it seems like a thing you should do with this administration. But listen to the way she kind of twists it and leaves information out.
CNN reports Trump's new personnel chief is distributing questionnaires to potential political appointees to verify their loyalty to President Trump. As part of the Trump litmus test, candidates must explain what part of Trump's campaign, quote, most appealed to them. The campaign to identify and purge anti-Trump staffers is being led by 29-year-old John McEntee, whom Trump recently appointed head of the Presidential Personnel Office. Before he was rehired this year, McEntee was fired in 2018 by then Chief of Staff General John Kelly because he was under federal investigation for financial crimes.
What were those accusations? Do you remember?
Gee, you'd think she'd mention that, don't you?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Well, apparently he has a gambling problem, and he had a couple of tax filings that weren't quite kosher, and so they started looking into them. But a tax filing, if you're looking at it, if you're being audited, apparently that's being under government investigation.
Well, that happens to me once every 10 years then.
So that was, I think that's about as slanted as a crappy report as Amy could probably muster. Good work.
Here is an announcement from Judicial Watch, the right-wing group of lawyers, or right-wing funded group of lawyers, I should say. The president, Tom Fitton, all jacked up.
Hi, everyone. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton here with big breaking news. A federal court today authorized Judicial Watch to take the sworn deposition testimony of Hillary Clinton about her emails and about the related Benghazi attack records. In doing so, the court authorized Judicial Watch to clarify and further explore Secretary Clinton's answers in person and immediately after she gives them. The court agrees with Judicial Watch. It is time to hear directly from Secretary Clinton. Now, it's this big Judicial Watch lawsuit that first exposed the Clinton email scandal, so we're pleased the court has authorized Judicial Watch to question Hillary Clinton about her email practices and how it impacted the people's right to know under the Freedom of Information Act.
Bada bing. That should be interesting.
Well, that's going to go nowhere. It's interesting, though, because I don't think
she'll never sit down. She'll never sit down. Why would she?
Contested. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of indictments for money laundering.
Sealed indictments?
No, these are real indictments.
Oh.
Supposedly. They're not being reported on much, but we'll have details by Sunday.
Okay. Unless you got something else, I feel good. I feel we should go out on this high.
I do have, just because I was ragging on Amy so much, I want to play one more clip from her. This is actually a good one, kind of. This is about the facial recognition scandal that is floating around. I think this is a reasonably good report.
A top Democratic lawmaker is demanding answers from a secretive artificial intelligence company over its sale of facial recognition technology to repressive regimes, including Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey sent a letter to Clearview AI on Tuesday, demanding information about the company's database of billions of images scraped from Facebook and other social media sites. Senator Markey wrote, quote, "The use of sophisticated facial recognition technology is concerning even in a democracy with strong civil liberties, but its export to certain foreign countries could enable mass surveillance and repression of minorities," he wrote. In recent days, students at 36 U.S. universities held protests against administrators' plans to use facial recognition on their campuses.
was interesting.
But it's inevitable. This stuff is coming to everybody. Everybody will have access to it.
Probably.
Yeah. It'll be used for all kinds of great stuff. Congratulations, everybody.
Good work.
Glad you put
good work posting all those pictures on
Facebook
and Instagram. And
good work,
elsewhere.
everybody. And tagging everybody. That's my favorite. Tag everybody.
Yeah, tag everybody so the government won't have to.
End of show mixes. Tom Starkweather, our very own Fletcher, and by request, Bill Walsh with the Ant song. Coming up next on NoAgendaStream.com. Somehow, I don't know how this happened. You can hear my appearance on the Joe Rogan Show. And that's it. Thank you all very much for the support. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being a part of the No Agenda community. And we say that with earnest. And coming to you from the frontier, let's see, it's actually Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas. FEMA Region 6, if you're looking for it on the governmental maps. Until Sunday in the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's not a community, it's a cult, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Sunday for service right here on No Agenda. Until then, adios, mofos, and such.
This whole thing is very, very spooky. You're the reason why all this started. You are the original podfather, the legitimate one.
So when are we smoking some weed? Because I'm about ready.
You'd love it.
I tell you, man, that's the best thing for my body.
You're doing something good for your body. It's actually good for you. We have blunts here.
I've never done a blunt. I'd do one.
You'd love it.
I was like, whoa, what's going on? Guys, I'm fucking hammered. Ooh, and we have different sounds. Bling, blong. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of different drugs. What should I try? I mean, I'm sure there's some crazy-ass drugs, but I won't do that. What the hell are you doing, Curry? It feels so good. I'm trying to cut back on drinking my pee, though.
Everybody should be like that. To really enhance their trip, they drink their urine.
Fantastic.
But anyway.
Completely illogical what's going on. Oh, this is kind of interesting, but all right, I'm pretty high.
So it's a psychedelic.
The further I got into it, the more I liked it.
Well, there's something beautiful about audio only.
It's true, Joe. We have all this cool shit, all this great technology. I was like, oh, fuck, broadcast. Mama, I have arrived. Here we are. Say, hey, can someone Google this for me?
Adam, I hate to end this, but it's 3:10.
Oh, shit.
We've literally done this for 3 hours.
I feel stupid now. It's the weed.
That's an amazing story, man. That's cool as fuck. I like where you're coming from.
Actually, Joe Biden's right.
Well, no. That's, I don't know about that. And this is where I agree with Tom. Close your eyes, everybody. Remember what you saw on television. It's about fear and loathing. It's always been about the abuse of power. African Americans, brown, black, women, men, gay, straight. We should make sure that we have no one going to jail for a drug offense. They go directly mandatory prison. Mandatory treatment, not prison. This guy got himself in trouble and begins saying that he couldn't disclose what he did. They came up with the internet. They came up with the whole idea of stealth technology. I'm going to do the same thing. I provide for the opportunity for first-time home buyers. The president my friend from Vermont thinks that the employer is going to give you back if you negotiate his union all these years, got to cut in wages because you got insurance. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. They're not bad folks. Now, it's not a bad idea if you like it. I don't like it. And I think anyone who has a record should be let out of jail. Their record's expunged. It be completely zeroed out. We are going to need to be in your country. You have to be open. You have to be clear. We have to know what's going on. We have to be there with you. We are in a position right now. We have to remember who we are. a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that. No one has heard that. No. You see it on the TV. Close your eyes, everybody. Remember what you saw on television. Tell me how this ends, Charlie.
I mean, I would just say, hey, Joe, instead of saying no, we can't, let's say yes, we can.
Let's be constitutional. We saw what happens when that happened. Why they do that? Why am I stopping? No one else stops.
Okay.
I got ants. I got ants. I don't know if we had ants. We had ant invasion. I was thinking if you desiccated a big pile of ants and then ground them to a powder like a fine grind of black pepper, we were having dinner and I got an ant somehow in the meal and I ate it. These things are peppery. I got ants. I got ants. These ants, they don't need a lot. And then you find all the ones that are roaming around. I backed them off by doing the burning trick. You just torch them. And you leave them there. The only ant, there are occasional moments where there's an ant that you do not torch, and that's an ant that's carrying one of the dead ants back. I got ants. I got ants. I got ants. I got ants. 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 Ants.
Oh, they're not that bad.
The best podcast in the universe.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
It's got the world aflutter.